What's up and what's going on, everybody? What's up and what is going on, everybody? We are live. We are back in here with another one, back in here with another one. I covered this on the on a pre-record yesterday. Definitely got to do a live show. The pre-record was short and to the point. Only covered maybe about 3 or 4 minutes of the interview to sum it all up. Really good. But right now, right here, right now, we about to go through the whole interview, the whole discussion that Andrew Tate had with the BBC News, where they tried to do a bunch of gotcha questions, the same typical run-of-the-mill thing that they always do. They did that. I think he handled himself well and acquitted himself well. But we're about to be getting to it. We're about to be breaking down what it's really truly all about. What it's really truly all about when they get on that. So strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
What's up and what's going on, good people? What's up and what's going on, good people? Shout out to everyone in the building. Shout out to RM. It says on the way in, hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. As you come on in. That helps with the algo. Lets people know that you're in the building. So by all means, please do that. Too damn snazzy in the building says, what's good, BR? What's good and what's up with you? Shout out to you. Glad you're in the building. And Human Freeman says, believe it or not, this is one of my favorite YouTube channels. Listen, man, I'm more humbled by that statement than what you realize. You have no idea. There are some times when I be on the fence about, screw it, I'm done. I'll be about to pack it up, pack it in, and quit. Sometimes I sometimes I just like, all right, I'm but when I hear stuff like that, it's humbling. It keeps me going. Pacanot. That's kind of a weirdly worded name. Pacanot says she was hateful. It was quite obvious, and he was having none of it. That's what I gathered from it as well. And my man, Sir Tice in the building says, if Tate isn't good for one thing, he's good for content. LOL. Yeah. Hashtag content strategy. But yeah, no, he definitely that's really the genius behind what he does. That's really truly the genius behind what he does. He and this actually came up in the interview, how he says provocative things, and she was trying to pin him down on a lot of those provocative things that he said. He creates controversy by saying provocative things, but then when you challenge him on it, he could walk you down the path, and you can see the logic behind it. He could walk you down the path, and you can see the logic behind it. So there's that. There's that. And the standard RLC says this is only Manosphere channel I regular tune into. I think it means regularly tune into. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Thank you, and I appreciate that. But the world is crumbling. Some wouldn't say crumbling. Some wouldn't say crumbling, but that's is one way to look at it. Is one way to look at it, because with Andrew Tate, there's a calling or call back to men being more masculine in what they do. That's sort of what the manosphere was kind of generally about. It's sort of talking to men about how to properly man, how to properly not get caught up in all the modern bullshit that goes on. How to think, analyze, and view things differently, because the world is going far in a different direction. The world is going clearly in that direction, and you know it when this is something that I played before that I got to pull out right now, like this right here, for example.
Clean. Hire me if
I guarantee it. In fact, I might.
Hold up.
hire me a maid.
All right, that's what I meant to play.
If you want your house clean, hire me a maid.
I agree with Sister Amira. I agree. I'll hire the maid and I'll marry the maid.
Boom.
I'll marry the maid. Okay. So you know why? Because I'll hire her and marry her.
When you get in a place where you got a fresh and fit style content, or like that whatever show that I still haven't really watched, but I've seen some of the shorts. You got chicks with their head covered. You got Muslim chicks with their head covered doing this kind of shit. Like I mean, that's when you know everything is falling apart. That's when you know everything is falling apart. And men can just sit idly by. Men can sit idly by and just watch it. Some men can just say, hey, I'm just going to enjoy it. and the second one is that's an acceptable position to say, hey, women are going WGTOW. Women going their own way. It's a perfectly acceptable thing for a man to say, hey, they going their own way. Cool. I'm going to enjoy it and get benefit from it. All right, cool. But in the midst of that, men need to know how to move. I apologize for that. Men got to know how to move, operate, and navigate through this stuff. Shout out to whoever that was in the chat room that says how to navigate. Men got to know how to navigate through this stuff. And men navigating and moving a certain way and moving, I would say, properly is what more or less is going to bring things back to what we would definitely consider to be something normal that makes sense. That would bring something back to normal. You change the men, you change the environment. That environment changed. The women can stay going their own way, or they will have to adjust and adapt to what the men are doing. That's why we speak to men. That's why we speak to men about what they need to do. And that's why they are mad at Andrew Tate, because he has the biggest bullhorn when it comes to speaking to men, particularly young men. When it comes to speaking to men, particularly young men, he wasn't the first, not the only, but he somehow created the biggest bullhorn to get a message for men out to men. He somehow managed to create the biggest bullhorn. They don't want that bullhorn to exist. and I hate that term they, because shout out to Kanye West. You can never say who they is. Who is they? But they don't want that to exist. They don't want men operating, moving, thinking, and navigating differently. They want men moving towards this more egalitarian society. They want men to basically give traditional treatment to modern women while also being they want men doing some tap dance of modern and traditional. And I literally had a chick on my show who, she kind of copped a plea. We went back and forth. It was, fine arguments on many sides. But the fact of the matter is, she was basically saying, she made the argument, no, if I make a certain amount of money, that man, he got to be on that. If I'm up here, he got to be up here. We got to meet at the same level. His money got to be able to pay all the bills. Ain't no 50-50. He got to pay all the bills. Okay, cool. I got no problem with that type of relationship. If the man getting everything he want. So as when I asked the question, so you want this traditional man, you gonna quit your job and be a modern and be a traditional woman for this traditional man that you want to show up? What did she say? No, no, I'm not quitting my job. I'm still going to be an out working, industrious, modern woman chasing my own bag while this man pays for every damn thing. While this man is going to take care of me while I'm out chasing the dream. It's like, it's like that. So that gets pawned off as normal. Well, men are stepping up and decrying, if those are the right words. That shit ain't normal. Sir Tyson in the building with the $5 super chat. He says, is this up there with one of the top train wreck interviews of all time? Umar, King Randu, and Roland come to mind. I don't know if this is up there with that. I don't know if this is up there with one of the most train wreck interviews I've ever seen. No. I mean, we've seen some bad ones. I was most proud with the King Randu that the black people that rock with Roland Martin was calling him out on that. But shout out to Sir Tyson in the building. These lanes $2. Wrong drop. All right, there we go. Now we got it right. And shout out to Pacanot in the building. Dropping $10 on it. What do we get for $10? Everything you want. And shout out to car designer Chris in the building. RM's not here today, but I know there's a moderator that got this link. Hell, if you got I'm pretty sure you got a wrench, car designer Chris. If you got a wrench, you go ahead and drop your own link in the chat. But somebody drop. I'm pretty sure you got a wrench. If you don't have a wrench, that's a huge oversight. But somebody dropped the link to that man's channel in the chat room. We didn't do the gathering on last month. We didn't do the gathering last month. But yeah, meet that man in person. I forgot he had a channel. So y'all drop car designers Chris name channel in the chat room. Y'all go subscribe to that brother. But thank you very much for that. Do appreciate it. What do we get for $10? Everything you want. Thank you, everybody. Supporting the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. But we about to get on into this. Strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
So guys, Andrew's just released a new interview with the BBC. If you want to join the Real World, we have a link in the description.
Andrew Tate. Hello. You've agreed.
Now, one thing that some people didn't understand on this, the BBC released their own interview. They released an edited interview. Andrew Tate did the smart thing and said, I'll agree to do this if I can record it myself and release the full unedited interview. BBC didn't release unedited work. They released 12-minute edited work of her trying to play gotcha. That's what they released. He was smart enough to say, okay, you can release your gotcha interview. I'm going to release the full interview. The only thing is, his interview, his version of it has really bad quality. His version of it has really bad quality, so the audio is going to be bad. And I think the version of it, let me put my headset on because this audio is horrible. Let me get my headset on because this audio is terrible. Just terrible. And thank you, Jackie, for putting car designer Chris, name in the chat. Thank you and appreciate that. I mean, not his name in the chat, his channel in the chat. Yeah, we'll probably be doing it. Next. This month. Probably be doing it this month. So anyway, moving along. Let's go ahead and get to it. But like I was saying, this is a bad audio quality when the BBC one is the one with good quality and high definition. Only thing is, if you use that, they can strike you down. I don't think they can strike you down for Andrew Tate's. They can't strike you down for Andrew Tate's original content. This is Andrew Tate owns this, so anybody, you know how he do. Anybody can use this stuff. So let's go.
To do an interview with the BBC today.
Yep.
The material is going to be published on television, on radio, online.
Perfect.
We are doing an interview with you because you're facing some very serious allegations.
Correct.
Rape, human trafficking.
Yep.
And also because there's a great deal of concern about the things you say and the impact that they have on young people, on women.
I don't think the concern's about the things I say. I think the concern is for the level of influence I have and the reach I have. I would argue that a lot of the things that are already out there inside of the legacy media and the matrix as a whole are far more damaging than the things I say.
It's the concern about the influence you have being a harmful influence, but let's start with the allegations.
Not necessarily a harmful influence. The fact that I'm massively influential over the youth, and I understand that, but it's my influence as a whole which people are afraid of, not necessarily the things I say.
Let's start with the allegations.
No, you made a good point right there. Yeah, I said the audio is going to be low. Turn your headsets up as loud as you can. The audio is going to be low. I'm not touching BBC's content. This is Andrew Tate's original content. They dropped the ball when they put it out there. They put it out there, bad audio, and it is what it is. There's nothing I could do to make that louder. I got it as loud as it can go. That is as loud as it's going to go. No, Sir Tate, I don't got to worry about them taking it down. BBC cannot take this down because it's Andrew Tate's original content. Only thing they can take down is if you use their version of it. And their version of it looks completely different and sounds completely different. So we good. It's not going to get taken down. We just got to deal with low audio. But I think MTR was using the original BBC version of it, and that's why his got taken down. But I think I'm 95% sure this is good to go.
Have you raped anybody?
Absolutely not.
Have you trafficked anybody?
Absolutely not.
Exploited any women for
Absolutely
money?
not.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to get women to work in the webcam industry for you.
No.
Now, that part right there. Now, I made this point in my pre-record if you watched it, and I'll elaborate on this point a little bit more. When she asked him, did you do all of these things? Did you sex traffic anybody? Did you grape anybody? Did you do that? When she asked him all of those different things that are illegal, she asked him a series of things that he do these things that were illegal. He said no. Then she asked him, but you did admit to, sorry if y'all can hear those sirens outside. I don't know if y'all can hear that. But she asked him an important. Oh, wait, no, y'all can't hear that. Okay, so she asked him an important question. Did you manipulate women into doing a webcam business of some sort? That's what she asked him. out of all the things that she asked him, that was probably the only thing he did. But out of all the things that they're accusing him of doing, that is the one that's not legal. I'm going to play her asking that question again, and she lumped the question about something that's legal in with a lot of illegal stuff. The only thing that they really got to stand on is the legal stuff that he admitted that he did. That's kind of shisty, you know. he was doing some weird stuff with the money that was shisty. He was telling him he loved him to try to get him to commit to doing it, and under the dream that they're gonna be together and this or that. But running a webcam business is legal. They do that on OnlyFans every day. You can manage it. You can manage an OnlyFans site. I could set up right here a camera and got an OnlyFans page. Go recruit some talent, bring them in. They perform for me. I do all the editing and chopping and screwing and set everything up. And then when the money come in, we divvy up the cut. That's legal. That is perfectly legal. So the only thing that she's basically saying is, did you say something? Did you kind of, say some sweet talk, slick stuff to try to make them feel more comfortable doing it? That's basically what she's saying.
Anybody?
Absolutely not.
Exploited any women for
Absolutely
money?
not.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to get women to work in the webcam industry for you.
No. Firstly,
is it illegal to emotionally manipulate someone to do a legal job? If operating an OnlyFans site is legal, is it illegal if you emotionally manipulate somebody into doing it? That's really the question. Is that illegal? I can't look or see anywhere how that's illegal if you say, come on, baby, please do that. I love you. Do you love me? Okay, if you love me, you just go ahead and you'll do it. And we just had this OnlyFans site set up, and then we divvy up the money, and I do all the managing and the taxes, and I'll do all the editing, and I'll send all the emails and all the typing and texting and everything that got to get done. All you got to do is show your feet on camera. Come on, if you loved me, you would do it. Is that against the law? Is that against the law? You're right. It sounds like pimping. You are right. It does sound like pimping, but if managing a webcam business is legal, then he didn't break the law on that one. If managing a webcam business is legal, you can't tell me he broke the law.
let's start at the beginning. I'm facing charges. The first one you mentioned, the rape one, has already been thrown out by a judge because there's no evidence of it. Secondly, it's very difficult for me to sit here and have a very frank and honest conversation with you while we're in the territory of Romania about a legal case that's going on within Romania. I have to protect myself. I've agreed to do an interview with you, and I want to be as honest with you as possible. But I can't incriminate myself in any way, and I have to be very careful with what I talk about.
There are no charges yet.
Correct, there are no charges.
There are no charges,
and I've agreed to speak to you, but I have to be as honest and frank as I can while also protecting myself and following my legal counsel.
So let's talk about...
Now, again, like I said in the pre-record, we're about to get past the point that I already talked about in the pre-record, but I do just want to highlight, she said, no, there were no charges yet. He said, no, there were no charges. Very important that he's not letting her slip in manipulative shit out the gate. There were no charges. Yes, I understand. There were no charges yet. No. There were no charges. That's how that's the truth, and that's how we're framing it. You're not going to frame it as in you are yet to receive any charges. No, there's no charges. Don't try to plant seeds.
About what you've said yourself then. You have said on the website, for your original website for the Hustlers University, that you emotionally manipulated women to fall in love with you so that you could get them working in the sex industry for your financial gain.
As I said, I have to be very careful with what I say, but let's put it this way. No women are coming out against me.
All right. Now, he's saying he got to be careful about what he's saying. So I'm assuming that this is what's centered around what he has to be careful about, saying the details of what was done. I think everybody understands full blown, because she said work in the sex industry. When you're talking about the sex industry, it sounds like you could be talking about full blown illegal prostitution, the actual selling of sex. It sounds like you could either be talking about that, or you could be talking about the porn industry. You could be talking about an OnlyFans page. You could be talking about some kind of webcam setup. As it's understood, he had some chicks working. He was running, managing, operating a webcam business. That's the sex industry. So when she said the sex industry, it sounds like she's saying, did you manipulate them to do something illegal? No, he manipulated them into doing something that's illegal. He manipulated them into doing something that's legal. That's what I've been saying from the start with this. They would have to prove, set up, and qualify that what was happening, whatever they was doing on those webcams, if that was illegal and he twisted somebody's arm and manipulated them into doing something illegal, then they got an argument. They got an argument. But he's saying emotionally manipulating. You want a girl to come do some legal work for your webcam business. So you started a relationship with her. You told her you love her. She told you she loved you. You love me, then come work for me. And that's not a crime. That's not a crime. But they're trying to play fast and loose with the sex trafficking laws, because the sex trafficking laws, when they change those laws and now everything is trafficking, now he's in a whole situation. Now he's in a whole situation where they could play fast and loose with it and try to say that it was some trafficking going on by the simple sheer act of him, using, like I said in the pre-record, using the language of love and promises in the future to try to get them to commit longer to showing their nipples and toenails on camera. Yeah. Showing nipples and toenails on camera is legal. A man managing, operating that's legal. That's all legal. They're literally trying to charge him up with doing something legal.
Accusing me of doing.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. Who?
There's testimony from the current investigation.
The current investigation, which I cannot discuss, which I know intimately and you don't. I can tell you right now that the women who are in this case file, there are 2 American women who have been caught already admitting they're lying, and then nobody else is accusing me of anything.
To begin with, it's very common in cases like this that the alleged victims do not always see themselves as victims.
I think the 2 women who he said that were.
I can tell you right now.
Hold on.
That the women who are in this case file, there are 2 American women who have been caught already admitting they're lying, and then nobody else is accusing me of anything.
To begin with, it's.
All right, I think he's referring to those 2 women that were saying something. I think Fresh and Fit probably did a whole breakdown of that, where they were saying that they were being held against their will, and in the timeline where they were being held against their will, there was pictures of that. There was video of them partying and drinking with other girls there. The Tate brothers weren't even there at the mansion. Nobody was there. It was just girls there having a good time during that timeline. They were leaving to go get pizza and coming back, and the whole works. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. So a lot of them have been proven outright debunked. A lot of them have been outright debunked. Shout out to Red Star in the building, says when World War III start, they will ask where the men are. Shaking my head. Yes.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
They have gotten too comfortable in this modern world of comfort and luxury, this Western world where, I mean, there's no wars on domestic soil here in America. You know, there's no army tanks and bombs blowing up, and I mean, other than, you know, a little domestic terrorism here and there, but they've gotten too comfortable with this. All right, they've gotten so comfortable that they want men to be softer. They want men to be softer, kinder, and gentler, and not operate from a masculine standpoint. They've gotten so comfortable with that, and then it's going to come to a point where shit will hit the fan. And you're absolutely right. They're going to say, "Where are the men at?" That's what they're going to say. They're going to say, "We need men to do thus and so," and those men are going to be sitting there with finger paint on their hand, with nail polish on their hands, looking like y'all need us to do what? Y'all need us to go storm the beaches of what? Huh? What? No. We can go together. We can play paper, scissors, rock and see who's going to go first to do that. But that's the situation that they're in. So if they were smart, they would have some understanding that that men calling for men to behave and conduct themselves like men, how in ways that men have acted in times in the past, is not a bad thing for society. It's not a bad thing for society. They don't get that because they've gotten too comfortable with all the modern Western comforts. They don't think shit will hit the fan. But it was a situation where on an airplane, somebody was trying to get into the cockpit, and what did they do? They got on a PA and said, "Available men, come in diffuse this shit." They knew they had to do that. They understand that you need men ready to go. You need men ready to step up when shit hit the fan. They don't get it. They don't want to get it. But let's go.
It's very common in cases like this that the alleged victims do not always see themselves as victims.
Well, that's very interesting.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
extremely interesting because
Did y'all hear that line?
caught already admitting they're lying, and then nobody else is accusing me of anything.
To begin with, it's very common in cases like this that the alleged victims do not always see themselves as victims.
Well, that's very interesting. It's actually extremely interesting because if I was...
Let me hear that one more time. I was reading the chat. I rewinded it, then I started reading the chat.
accusing me of anything.
To begin with, it's very common in cases like this that the alleged victims do not always see themselves as victims.
Well, that's
If you got to go put your hand on the shoulder of somebody, get down on one knee and explain to them real slow that they're a victim, it's a good chance they're probably not a victim. There are some instances, to be, fair and charitable here, there are some instances where somebody could be a victim but desensitized to certain things and they not seeing themselves as a victim. That happens. I get it. But if those victims is also, those victims will get on a camera and speak their own mind, drunk, dancing and twerking and partying at the place where they're being victimized. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of video out there of the partying that goes on. That was going on at Tate's mansion. He probably ain't got no partying going on in there right now. he probably got women walking around in them damn beekeeper suits. Yeah, I think Jackie get where I'm going. It happens mostly with kids. Yeah, kids get desensitized to a situation, don't realize that they're victims. It can happen to adults too, but that is argument that shouldn't fly if you're trying to lock somebody up and it's a situation that's delicate to the point to where if your argument has to hinge on the victims don't know that they're victims, then I think that speaks to the weakness of your argument. If you're talking about a victim that don't know that they're a victim, then that means that you have to have other hardcore concrete evidence of a crime. Now, if you have some other hardcore concrete evidence of a crime, then you could say the victim does not know that they're a victim. For example, if you find a woman with her face all beat up and she's saying that, no, it's okay, and it was my fault, and okay, you see a bloody beat up face. That could be a situation where somebody don't know that they're the victim. But if you don't have the bloody beat up face, then you got the women saying that they're not victims, and you have no other evidence that they're victims, but you're just insisting that they are.
Very interesting. It's actually extremely interesting, because if I was a matrix controlled organization and my goal was to slander somebody and try and destroy their name, you're telling me that they've chosen a crime which, one, is heinous, of course, because it damages the person's credibility, and two, you're saying that even if everyone else involved, if you have 5 people and everyone's sitting there saying, no, nobody's hurt anybody, we like Andrew, we've all worked together, or we're friends, etc.
That's not what everybody's saying.
No.
Let me read you some of the testimony from the current investigation.
Can I finish this?
One of the witnesses said...
Can I finish this?
You're not answering the question I've asked you. You're not answering the question I've asked you.
I am answering the question. Let me read you the testimony of one of the witnesses. You're saying the people who are involved in this, even if they say they're not victims, that they're still going to try and attack me and pretend they're victims.
Treated as...
Hang on 1 second, yeah.
Hold up.
Victims by the case that's ongoing. And not all of them are saying that. One of the witnesses says...
We can't go into the case. The case is open and active.
All right, we're gonna back it up a little bit. We're gonna back it up a little bit. And Arvin say, you make it sound like he's the new Hugh Hefner. The Tate mansion is the new Playboy mansion. I mean, it was definitely trending in that direction. It was definitely trending in that direction. You can't like Hugh Hefner walked the proper delicate balance of having a mansion full of bouncy women. You never heard him say anything bad about women, though. You know, it's like that's the delicate balance you got to walk on. You can't be saying something bad about women. You can't be saying bad things about women while simultaneously having a harem of bouncy women at your house and a public media figure. Now, if you had got a harem of bouncy women at your house and you say nothing but nice things about them, yeah, people turn the other way on that one. People turn the other way and they chill on that one. But yeah, that was that you're asking for it when you're doing that. You're asking for it when you do that.
Them are saying that. One of the witnesses says...
We can't go into... You're saying the people who are involved in this, even if they say they're not victims, that they're still going to try and attack me and pretend they're victims.
Treated as victims by the case that's ongoing. And not all of them are saying that. One of the witnesses says...
We can't go into the case. The case is open and active.
Well, let's just be clear that not all of the witnesses in the case are behaving in the way you describe. And even those that are, it doesn't bar them from being treated as victims by the prosecution by the case.
We have an open criminal investigation. I am absolutely not really sure I'll be found innocent. I know the case better than you. I know it intimately and you don't. I have seen all the criminal files and the evidence against me and you haven't. I know the truth of what happened and you don't. And I'm telling you absolutely not really, I've never hurt anybody, that the case that's been put against me is completely and utterly fabricated. And I'm never going to be found guilty of anything. And it's very difficult for me to answer your in-depth questions because we're sitting here inside of the territory of Romania. I'm beholden to the Romanian legal system. And I'm not going to incriminate myself because you're trying to prod me. You are wrong, and we're going to have to accept that for now and talk about something else.
Let me read you then what you have said about what you have done.
Sure.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think that's
exactly what
no,
you said.
That's no. I've never said that. That's something that you found on the internet. Doesn't mean I've said it. And again, once again, if any female on the planet has a problem with me, I strongly recommend her to go to the police and try and pursue me for criminal charges. It's actually
all right. Now, he copped a plea on that one. I think I don't have the video, but I think it is video of him saying that. If he said it exactly like she said it, my argument is this. If he meets a girl, has some type of pseudo relationship with her, get her to fall in love with him, and then once she loves him and trusts him, he says, come do this legal webcam work, like, you know, like thousands of chicks are doing on OnlyFans every day. Come do this legal webcam work. Help me out if y'all see a law broken. If being an OnlyFans webcam platform manager is legal, what did he do wrong? That's literally like me convincing my girl right now to put her feet on OnlyFans. She's in love with me. I got her to fall in love with me. She does pretty much everything I ask her to do. So if I got her to put her feet on OnlyFans, did I break the law? We can make a lot of money if you put your feet on OnlyFans. Did I break the law? That is the central argument here that they keep going back to, because everything else that they're saying is not the only thing that they can really pin on him is the words that came out of his mouth. Those were the words that came out of his mouth. He's denying it right now. He's kind of copping a plea, but I believe I saw a video of him saying that. So I'm just going to say the BBC News is right. And by the way, BBC, they need to change that name. What is it? British Broadcasting Channel? They really need to change that news. Y'all have lost the media war over the term BBC, okay? BBC means something else. Yeah, probably was there first, but just like WWF had to change to WWE, the BBC News need to let it go, okay? It's confusing that I'm doing a live stream and I have to keep saying BBC. They really need to change their name. They've lost the battle. In the hearts and minds of the people, BBC means something else. Change that name. But anyway, I digress. What was I talking about before I started talking about BBCs? I was talking about the BBC. Or the... Okay. So, here's the deal. Oh, and the Clue Channel said in Cox Communications. Yeah. I forgot where I was going. I just got thrown off. I like the eighth time that I said BBC in the video, I had to stop and address it. The MacDrugger says, at least it ain't the BJC network, man. Cut it out. He says, nah, I'm sticking to British Broadcasting Corp because I don't have the other in my mind. I'm talking about the hearts and minds of the people. Okay? When you hear BBC something else, there's another somebody is basically took over that name BBC. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The Clue Channel. Yeah, the of course, the Black Baseball League. Yeah, that's what I think when I hear BBC. The Black Baseball League. Absolutely. That's what I think when I hear BBC. And now look what's scrolling at the bottom. See? BBC. Black Baseball League, British Broadcasting Corporation. Yeah. Yeah, they could go BMC all day. British Media Corporation. I think they should change it. I think they should separate themselves. They really should. But all right. I forgot what point I was making. So I got to back up just a wee bit. Has
a problem with me, I strongly recommend her to go to the police and try and pursue me for criminal charges. It's actually very interesting that me, one of the most famous people in the world, who's been vilified by the legacy media and placed all over the internet, while everyone has attacked me from every single angle, while federal agencies from multiple countries have called over 2,000 women who know me, we stand here with 0 new accusations since my arrest. 0. If you took any famous person, any man of substantial wealth, and you called 2,000 women who knew him, he'd find an ex-girlfriend is upset, somebody who wants money who's upset. They called 2,000 people who knew me and could not find a single woman to make a new complaint. The only complaints they have against me are the initial complaints, which we can prove are lies, and that's where it stands. So I'm not going to sit here and allow you to pretend that I'm some kind of evil predator, when actually I'd argue the fact that people who've been investigated to the level I've been investigated to, if you were to take the average man on the street and investigate his entire life for 14 months, call everyone who's ever known him, and vilify him in the media, and encourage people to come forward for money, and you try to contact every ex-girlfriend he's ever had.
Would come forward and accuse those people of rape and accuse those people.
I think that you would have a lot.
If they had money to take, yes. Yes, absolutely. RM, why do you got to reboot your laptop? I'm just curious. Why you got to reboot your laptop? Explain yourself. All right. He's basically saying that if you take anybody, you give them that kind of media coverage, you vilify them in the media, and you put some money on the line that can be gained from coming out, and then you go to 2,000 women that know them, and would one of those women come forward and say, "Oh yeah, he did something wrong to me"? Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. We seeing that real heavy. We saw that, like the worst case of that, not the worst case of it. Yeah, I know Bill Cosby is recently getting accused of something from I think some 80-year-old woman is accusing him of something that happened in the 60s. Like, it's that bad. The Donald Trump chick, when they was at Target. That's an inside joke. If you know, you know. The chick that Donald Trump was found liable. That's the difference between liable and guilty. I barely know the difference. But yeah, the 1969 Playboy model, Sir Tice got it. Basically a friggin' the chick that was Donald, that was, you know, met Donald Trump at some store, some clothing store. I said Macy's. I think it was some more upscale place, but Macy's. I'm just going with Macy's. They was talking, they was flirting, and they went into the dressing room together after having good talking, flirty, playful banter. And then they went into the dressing room. This was back in, I think, the 90s. Nobody saw it. Nobody witnessed it. But she just told some people that she had an encounter with Donald Trump back then, and some of those people are still alive, and said, "Oh yeah, she told me about it." That was enough for him to be found liable. Like, people are coming out of the woodwork. People are coming out of the woodwork. It's like, goddamn, it's like civil rights era, like 1969. Like, we're talking 1969 Playboy model accusing Bill Cosby of something. Like, civil rights era chicks. Like, just think about that. Just think about if Rosa Parks That's like Rosa Parks. Well, she died fairly recently, right? Ooh, that's bad. I don't know that. But anyway, that's like, yeah, and she did. That's like Rosa Parks trying to Me Too JFK. Like Rosa Parks, because of her civil rights heroism, went to the White House, was invited to the White House by the president. She met JFK, she met John F. Kennedy, and she in two all the way in 2019, she's saying that John F. K groped me. John F. K tried to get me in the broom closet. the White House, he tried to get me in the White House broom closet back in 1964. Back in 1966. Like, that is literally that bad. Like Rosa Parks, Me Too, and John F. Kennedy. That's what I hear when you say a Playboy model from 1969 just can't. It's coming out talking about some stuff Bill Cosby, did in the 60s. That's what I hear. We might as well have Rosa Parks, Me Too, and John F. Kennedy. Might as well.
I think you would have a lot more flack than I've got. I'm actually such a nice person that I've never had anyone come
spoken to somebody since your arrest who says exactly those things, that with you it's all manipulation.
Yeah, see, she just said the BBC has spoken to somebody since your arrest. It just, okay. All right, we gotta let it go.
Manipulation. There's an ulterior.
Is this Sophie? Is this Sophie? Oh, it's Sophie, the fake name, no face, the story that was invented.
Wanting to please him and wanting him to be happy, that I was just kind of, okay, do whatever you want.
And what is she accused? Has she accused me of a crime, this imaginary Sophie?
She's making the point that there is.
Has she accused me of a crime?
Emotional or psychological manipulation.
I've asked you a question and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here because I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you the question.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to.
That did y'all see that microaggression? Look how he leaned forward on her. It was like, ooh, that was threatening. that microaggression was strong right there. Watch how he leaned forward on her when he said
my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here because I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you the question.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answers.
No, we're equal here.
That was enough right there for her to say she felt threatened, like he was going to get up and attack her.
I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as legacy media, giving you relevance by speaking to you. And I'm telling you now, this Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The BBC did not invent.
Of course not. And because you never invent anything. And she's not filed criminal charges against me. What are we talking about here? What is she saying?
Talking about emotional manipulation. It's the sex industry for your financial gain.
Now that's an important piece of information right there that that I forgot about. Like the Sophie chick that was on Vice. This chick never filed any charges, never showed her face, and used a fake name. Like that's why he's saying she doesn't exist. Like, this is a person that doesn't exist. No face, no name, no charges. Like, that's the definition of hit piece. That's the definition of a hit piece. You got a woman, nobody saw her face, nobody knows her name, and this woman has never went and formed any formal charges. That's why he's saying she doesn't exist. She might as well just be an actor. GC in the building, what's going on? Hood Conservative says that heard that civil rights coochie come with a side of cornbread. Yes, it does.
Absolute garbage. She has not filed criminal. This person, if they exist, has not filed criminal charges against me. I welcome anybody who believes I've harmed them, male or female, any point in the past, to file criminal charges against me. I will fight them. I know who I am, and I know what I've done, and I know the truth, and I know that I'll be found innocent of this attack. The reason I'm being attacked is because of my massive influence, not because I've ever hurt anybody. And for you to sit here and say that everybody around you is saying you're innocent, but that doesn't matter because the state will say they're victims, and they're just going to grab everybody you know and call everybody victims even if they say they're not, and try and put you in jail, you are describing a matrix attack. You're not describing human trafficking.
I'm describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human trafficking.
We will see what women go. We will see what women go to court at the end of this trial. We'll see which women go. This person, if they exist, has not filed criminal charges against me. I welcome anybody who believes I've harmed them, male or female, any point in the past, to file criminal charges against me, and I will fight them. I know who I am, and I know what I've done, and I know the truth, and I know that I'll be found innocent of this attack. The reason I'm being attacked is because of my massive influence, not because I've ever hurt anybody. And for you to sit here and say that everybody around you is saying you're innocent, but that doesn't matter because the state will say they're victims, and they're just going to grab everybody you know and call everybody victims, even if they say they're not, and try and put you in jail. You are describing a matrix attack. You're not describing human trafficking.
I'm describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human trafficking.
We will see what women go. We will see what women go to court at the end of this trial. We'll see which women go to court.
Can I finish, please?
We'll see which women go to court.
I'm describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human
Sophie
trafficking.
hasn't gone to court. Sophie doesn't exist.
And I'm describing women who have spoken to the BBC at length.
Sophie doesn't exist.
And other media organisations about what they say is emotional manipulation and coercion. And I'm quoting back to you your own words where you describe.
They're not my words.
Coercion.
They're words you found. They're words you found on the internet. And Sophie doesn't exist.
On your
so let's move on to
website,
the next subject.
In your voice.
Move on to the next subject.
No, I think I'll stick on this one for a minute. So there's.
All right. Something that I do want to pull up. Something that I do want to pull up. Give me a slight second on that. Because somebody left an interesting comment to one of my pre-records. It was actually Cold Steel. And shout out to Cold Steel. He Cold Steel is Cold Steel. And shout out to D-Rock Den, sent me a $2 super thanks for that pre-record that I did. Now, Cold Steel said this. This is what Cold Steel said. And give me a second. Because I've been fishing for where something illegal has taken place. And they just keep saying manipulation. Manipulation to do what? Manipulation to do a legal webcam business. All right. Cold Steel said this in the chat room, in the comment section yesterday. So this was interesting. It says the legal definition of sex trafficking includes using force, fraud, or coercion. Force, fraud, or coercion to manipulate the victims. That coercion word. Let's make sure we got the correct definition of that. And I didn't spell it right. Give me a second. Because I think Cold Steel laid out a case of how he possibly did something illegal. Let's look it up and go through it together. Give me 1 second. All right, coercion definition: the practice of persuading someone to do something by using force or threats. Okay, you didn't use force or threats. He manipulated. He emotionally manipulated. But he didn't use force or threats. But coercion is the practice of persuading someone to do something by using force or threats. But even if you use force or threats to get somebody to do something legal, did you then do something illegal? But that's not even what it's looking like he did, because it's looking like he just did the whole, he emotionally manipulated them by making them think that he loved them. Cold Steel said he was coming from a fraud angle. But anyway, let me read what you did. Let me read what you said. He says the legal definition of sex trafficking includes using force, fraud, or coercion to manipulate the victims. Governments, you didn't say which governments, but maybe there's some governments that do. Governments consider using the lover boy method, faking a relationship to manipulate the victims that were victim, probably shouldn't be there, manipulate the victims part of sex trafficking. That makes no sense. It's the same rationale why con artists aren't legally allowed. I mean, yeah, aren't con artists legally aren't allowed to lie or trick people into giving them money. Well, tricking somebody into giving you money, that is a form of stealing. We're in a weird place. We're in a weird place if the whole idea of tricking somebody to have sex with you is illegal. We're in a very weird place if like we're in a very weird place because the whole idea of being charming, whether you being charming, more romantic, or got collar pop, smooth player, game, whatever you do, whatever your method is, it is a form of you trying to convey and communicate with that person that you're the one that they should be having sex with. I'm the one you should be giving your time to. So that's such the gray area in trying to figure out, decide, or divvy up the degrees and measures and lengths of whether or not somebody is lying or emotionally manipulating somebody into doing something sexual. Is like that's a hard one to do. It's basically saying, shout out to the late great ARC, it's basically saying mode 3 is against the law. Mode 1 being upfront about all your intentions. Mode 2 being vague and ambiguous about your intentions. Mode 3 being flat out lying about your intentions. It's basically saying mode 3 is against the law. That's essentially what that's saying. If what Code Steel wrote right there is true. But you got to bend and play that fast and loose with the law because to say that he did something illegal, because you have to say that the emotional manipulation was the illegal part. Shout out to Hood Conservative. That just sounds like hoes mad because they were dumb enough to think that this man who got a mansion with 20 women in it doing webcam shit is in love with them and going to be with them. Like but that's look at that, moving from one place to another. Okay, hold on. What's the definition of trafficking? That's the key. When we think of trafficking, is the taking of someone against their will for the purpose of profiting. That's what it should be, but they play fast and loose with it to the point that even if you didn't take them against their will, if you took them there, I've heard somebody, this is a real life situation. I heard somebody explain trafficking like this. I'm gonna get back to the tape in a second. I heard somebody explain trafficking like this. If you take somebody somewhere, but it's sort of under false pretenses, or you just don't give them the information fully. Like, okay, this is what happened. I'm trying to flip the story around a little bit because somebody I know actually told me this story. And if that's somebody I know and somebody they know is listening, because people I know be listening, so I gotta be careful sometimes. But here's the deal. It was a situation where somebody got in the car to ride with somebody to go to somebody's house, but when they got there, they didn't know that it was a person that was going to be there. She knew that the person who was driving knew that she was going to be going there to meet the guy that she wanted to meet there. The girl that she was with was unaware that it was going to be a guy there for her. She thought she was just going with her friend, but there was a guy there who started trying to get at her. And in her mind, she was like, y'all basically just sex trafficked me. Y'all took me, y'all came and got me and moved me from one place through traffic to another place of which some sex was hoping to occur. And she's like, she wasn't. So instead of just having no, I don't want to mess with this dude, or just instead of just a simple no rejection to his advances, she said sex trafficking. This is sex trafficking. It's like, but is it really? I mean, you thought you was just chaperoning your friend. You didn't know that the guy that she was going to see had a guy there waiting to try to get at the friend that was chaperoning. Basically, he brought his wingman to run interference so he can get some pussy. But they try to call that sex trafficking. It's like, so any damn thing, any damn thing can turn into sex trafficking when they play fast and loose with definitions. He says, when we think of trafficking, is the taking someone against their will for the purpose of profiting off of it. That's what I think. That's what I think. Moving from one place to another. That's what that's what makes sense there. That's what I think. But all right, let's get back into it. Kosa said he could probably wiggle out of mode too, being vague and ambiguous if he tells outright lies. I think they can make a case. But what was the lie? The lie was, I really like you. I really love you. He's caught on tape saying, I convinced him that I love him, and they fall in love with me, and I tell them I love them, and then they're more likely to commit and do what I'm asking them to do. So again, I asked the question. Over the course of the relationship that I've had with my woman, I have made her fall in love with me. So if now I'm at phase 4 of my diabolical plan, I now get her to show her feet on OnlyFans, which is legal. Have I now committed a crime? If you have to say, in order to say I haven't committed a crime, you have to say, well, Bernard, but do you also love her? And I say, yes, then I didn't commit a crime. But then you say, well, Bernard, do you also love her? And I say, no, I don't love her. I never loved her. You've broken the law. Like, we can't live in a world where we're locking people up for that. We can't be legislating female emotions after they find out that the guy didn't really like them that much. We can't legislate female emotions. We can't.
Other places in that same website where you say you get girls to fall in love with you and they do it because they love you, because they want to do what you say. Convincing women to take part in some kind of business arrangement doesn't work long term because they're emotional. You've got to get them to fall in love with you. That's coercion, that's emotional manipulation, that's abuse.
What you've found are clips from the internet, some text from the internet, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the reason I should be
your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Check my website. Next.
It's the website you've taken down, and I wonder why those comments have been taken down.
No website's been taken down. My website is the same. It's been the same for a very long time.
The comments on this website, on the original website, have been taken down, and I wonder why.
You are accusing me, I'm guessing, what you're trying to say is you're accusing me, and you're trying to say that I'm guilty of the things I'm accused of, and I'm emotionally manipulating people.
I'm saying that you have said you emotionally manipulated people here for your own financial gain.
No, absolutely not.
And I'm asking you about that.
Absolutely not is the answer. I look forward to the end of this trial. I look forward to clearing my name. I look forward to the BBC and the legacy media having to say not guilty and having to tell the truth. As I've said before, the only other person who's been found, despite absolute rigorous...
The Clue channel, you say only feet? Yeah. I'm a respectable gentleman. If times get hard and I got to start a webcam business, and yeah, my only thing I'll make her show is her feet and a little ankle. That's it. Respectable gentleman here. I'm gonna have her bearing all on OnlyFans. You crazy?
Destructive levels of investigation and prodding into my life is this imaginary Sophie by the BBC who doesn't exist. And if you were to find any single other man on earth and try and analyze his life forensically to the level they've done mine, you would find genuine damage to people. I don't hurt people.
It's not just...
Thousands of women have come out in my defense. thousands of women have come out in my defense, and you've not mentioned that. Thousands of women come out in my defense.
Because the problem is when women accuse you of serious crimes.
Okay,
and emotional
but
manipulation.
let's agree that
That's
thousands
the
of women.
problem.
Let's agree that
It's
thousands.
not the problem that some people say you haven't done it. It's a problem that some people say you have.
Thousands of women come out in my defense, and as we stand right now, we have an open criminal investigation. The people who are involved in the criminal investigation are saying that we're not victims of anything. Andrew's fine, he's never hurt us. You're saying, no, I have the opposite to that. I have to counter that. I have someone called Sophie with no face, a fake name, who we've invented, and she's not accusing you of anything criminal. So I don't see the whole point you're trying to make here.
You say you manipulate women, they say you manipulate women. Why wouldn't people think you do?
I'm not here. Do you think I'm manipulating you?
I'm asking you about the testimony you've given on your website and the testimony
I think he can't get into probing questions about how legal or illegal it is to manipulate women. I think he has to stay in that area of not speaking on that, because that's going to come up heavy in the trial. But this trial is going to hinge on whether or not this man can be charged with committing the crime of manipulating a woman to do something legal.
You've printed something off that you found on Reddit, and you're going to sit here and say that that makes me a bad person. And I'm saying that you should know better as a journalist and do some proper journalism. Let's investigate the fact that thousands.
I mean, I hope y'all smart enough to understand there's a clear and distinct difference from if you manipulate women to sell pussy on the street versus manipulating a woman to show her titties on OnlyFans. Those are two different things. One of them is clearly legal. One of them is clearly illegal. The other is clearly legal. And I'm thinking he end up in a rock and a hard place where he can't really go there. But I think that's the nail in the coffin.
answer my questions
I am.
properly.
I already have, and we should move on. She's just trying to start an argument.
It's not only about the criminal allegations. It's a much bigger issue. You've got children's organisations in the UK, you've got rape organisations in the UK, you've got the police naming you by name as someone who has a harmful influence on children and on women in the UK and elsewhere because...
And that's what it's all about. They don't like the influence that he's having on children. By children, we mean young men, youth, teenagers, high school age, perhaps maybe middle school age, and whether or not how harmful that is, subjective. It is. If you're some woke feminist, male or female, then yes, he's having a harmful influence on the youth. With an F. No ifs, ands, no, with a PH on the youth. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But if you if you're a masculine man or a woman who thinks that men should be masculine and should be leaders, and then all is fine and well. Then all is fine and well. But the mere fact that keeps coming up, that is a part that is more or less exposes what the real agenda is here. That exposes what the real agenda is here.
The things you say, because of the way you present.
If you're new here, subscribe. If you're new here, subscribe and hit that like button. Hit the like button, good people. Hit the like button, good people.
Gender relations, the way you say men should treat women.
That's very upsetting. And the reason that's very upsetting is because I know that's not true. I'm genuinely a good person. I believe my impact on the world is positive. In fact, if you were to read the comment section of nearly any video I post, especially by the legacy media, 95% of the population agree with me. Most people know that the things I say are positive. Legacy media as a whole has lost all its credibility in the last 3 to 4 years. Nobody believes it. And it's a shame, it's a massive shame that the BBC come here and try and push and purport this idea that I'm a dangerous person.
I'm
anti-drugs. I've never pushed drugs or any, I'm anti-drugs, I'm anti-violence. The UK is facing a knife crime epidemic.
Freeman Journal is saying that the audio is terrible. This was broadcast. Long story short, like I said at the beginning of the show, the BBC version of it is really good audio and really good video. This is Andrew Tate's personal recording of it. He did the smart thing and basically said, yes, I'll do this interview, but I got to be able to record it and release the full unedited video. And so that's what he did. But his full unedited video is shitty audio. But that's good. It's good. It's good that he did that because, you know, everybody can just play it and not have to worry about it. Like RM, we don't even need that fair use right there because Andrew Tate's original video ain't going to get taken down. I mean, he don't. This is his content strategy to have everybody share and use his shit to keep his name in rotation. So we don't even got to. If this was a BBC video, oh my goodness. Now we back talking about that. If this was a BBC video, if this was a BBC video, then we would definitely it would definitely get taken down by YouTube. All right. All right. Anyway, we back.
And they're going to sit here and say that I'm the most dangerous man in the UK.
You have said you're the most dangerous man in the world.
I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world.
You've also said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner. I'm glad you find that funny.
I find it funny that you're sitting here saying that I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world, and you believe that's. When did I say that?
I'm asking if you believe it.
No, you said you're the most dangerous man in the world. Is that some kind of proof that I'm dangerous? Am I Dr. Evil now? I'm telling you that it's very upsetting that you're going to
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Pretend that I'm the biggest force of evil on earth when I'm genuinely a force for
good.
good. I'm genuinely a force for good.
I've said.
And the reason they're doing this is because of the massive influence I have over the youth, and they don't like that I'm telling the youth to think outside of the matrix and ignore things like the BBC, which come here with loaded questions and false narratives and try and paint innocent people as guilty.
You've said women's intimate parts belong to their male partner.
I said that if a woman marries a man, she takes his last name and traditionally the man gives her away. I've been pushing traditional religious beliefs, because I'm a religious man, and traditional beliefs in regards to marriage, which everybody accepted 10 to 15 years ago.
So
that's not a crazy conspiracy theory. If you're going to sit here and say that me believing a woman should take a man's last name in marriage.
Now, I'm going to back up a little bit so we can make sure we get his point. But he made a really good point that 10 years ago, that is more or less, well, I'll probably say 10, 15 years ago, everybody believed more like the stuff that he was saying would not be as controversial. Like we got to go back to like 2000 and 2004, the Bush era. You know, that's when conservatives was winning the culture war. The things that Andrew Tate says, or some of the things that the manosphere says, like a lot of it will get pushed back because there's some simpery on the conservative side. Don't get me wrong on that one. But the fact of the matter is the country was trying to lean towards a more patriarchal, male-centric, male leadership type of way. That somewhere along the way that aspect of the culture war was lost, and now everything is really pushing hard and heavy, more egalitarian, more LGBTQRS, more the Oscars and having, you know, LGBTQ women and people of color requirements and all that kind of stuff is coming in real heavy. They're going more in that direction right there, you know, with all of this. Everything got more woke. The conservatives essentially lost the culture war, and so that's the good point that he's making. That's like a really good point that he's making. That there was an era in the very recent past where everything was trending more in a patriarchal kind of way. It was, you know, it was a splash of it. It was a splash of it, and then it just went right back. And so now here we are.
Makes me the most dangerous man in the world. Then you're just going to lose even more credibility than
everything getting super woke the way it did is a big part of the reason. Well, that and a black president too. That's yeah. You know, it's part of the reason why Trump got elected. Everybody was like, we got to go in the opposite direction real fast.
BBC's already lost in the last 4 to 5 years. If that's your point, if that's your narrative you want to
also
push,
say that
good
men
luck.
should be able to sleep with a lot of women outside marriage. That doesn't sound very religious or very conservative.
That's not what I said they should be able to. I said a lot of high-value men, a lot of rich men do it. And then we discussed at length on podcasts why rich men do it. And we also discussed why women decide to be unfaithful. It's not a gendered argument. We discussed unfaithfulness as a whole. What are the... If you're going to sit here and say that me believing a woman should take a man's last name in marriage makes me the most dangerous man in the world, then you're just going to lose even more credibility than the BBC's already lost in the last 4 to 5 years. If that's your point, if that's your narrative you want to push,
say that
good
men
luck.
should be able to sleep with a lot of women outside marriage. That doesn't sound very religious or very conservative.
That's not what I said they should be able to. I said a lot of high-value men, a lot of rich men do it. And then we discussed at length on podcasts why rich men do it. And we also discussed why women decide to be unfaithful. It's not a gendered argument. We discussed unfaithfulness as a whole. What are the reasons and motivations for men, and what are the reasons and motivations for women? Because you have no time to actually...
Now, this is where she's losing real bad here, because she's trying to catch him with controversial sounding sound bites that he said. But the fact of the matter is, he, like most people that does manosphere, red pill type content or whatever, they... most of us can we can say some controversial shit, but can then walk through the process and explain it. And so now she's hearing him not in a short reel highlight clip. He's in real time explaining what he's talking about. And then now she's having a problem with it.
Actually watch my content, because you have no time to actually watch my content at length and understand what I'm saying. You just come here with a small snippet which has been provided to you on a piece of paper.
Saying it 3 times doesn't make it true.
No, completely. You don't have a clue what I say or what I talk about. You never watch my content. You have small pieces of paper, small clips on a piece of paper, and you're trying to pretend I've said evil things. And then you're going to say I'm the most dangerous man in the world, which is truly laughable.
You said that, not me.
Okay. Do you believe I'm the most dangerous man in the world, Lucy?
I'm not answering your questions.
Well, then we need to change the dynamic of this interview, because, and I'll make this clear, I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world, and we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal, and if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo and that you don't have to answer my questions is disingenuous, because I don't owe you anything.
Asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe, no.
However you want.
This is a conversation, and I don't owe you any degree of authority over me. So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor.
Great.
And I'm doing you a favor. But you come here with loaded questions. You're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you about
and that's
things
fine.
you've said.
Now, that was some cooking right there. That was definitely some cooking right there, and a lot of good points made in there. I will say that there's a such thing as an interviewer who don't answer questions. I think once you start asking so many gotcha questions and have you stopped beating your wife yet kind of questions, you give up that journalistic privilege of only asking questions and not having to answer them. So she's given up that privilege, and now he has every right to answer her question and flip it around and put another question at her. So like that was damn good. That was damn good on his part.
That people are concerned about.
And that's fine, but you're not going to sit here and say you don't answer my questions because you're not above me.
This is also not supposed to be a third degree, it's supposed to be a conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, it would help if you answered the question.
I've answered every question so far.
Let me ask another question.
Sure.
You have said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner, and if she goes on OnlyFans, he is entitled to a cut of her income.
Let me just say this before he responds. I made the analogy, if I got my woman to show her feet on OnlyFans, yeah, if we're in a relationship and she's going to give up a part of her, basically her body, some like her sexuality, that's something that in a relationship that she gives to me and only me. But if a part of it is going to be lended out, borrowed out to make money, yeah, and that money is going to come in for us. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I will have access to that money. If I don't have access to that money, your toes are not going to be on OnlyFans. That's just that simple. So even without hearing what he got to say, it actually logically makes sense that yeah, if we are together we are together, and you wanna put toenails, you wanna put toes and titty nipples on OnlyFans, then yeah, that's our money, flat out, flat out. I could stand by that one.
Are extremely, it's actually very confusing to me why you're going to sit here, take long format podcasts I've done, which are 3 or 4 hours long, in context where I've sat with OnlyFans girls, 10 or 15 OnlyFans girls, where we've been joking back and forth, ignore every comment and satirical comment and sarcastic comment that the females have made, and then come along and say, you said this, and you're the most evil man in the world. I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is. I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is. I don't know if you understand what context is. I don't know if you understand what satirical content
So you're saying it was sarcastic?
I'm saying it was a very interesting talk show. And for you to sit here and say that that is my true core beliefs and that makes me a bad person is disingenuous.
Is it?
Of course not.
Was it sarcasm?
Absolutely. You should watch the show.
You were being sarcastic when you said, let me just clarify.
You should watch the show.
Let me clarify.
But Sir Tice, it's a good point embedded in what you're saying. You said what's laughable is how they're trying to rationalize OnlyFans as legit work. But the thing that they're essentially trying to charge him up with is running an OnlyFans page. That's what they're trying to charge him up with. But now she's saying that if a woman, you said that if a woman has an OnlyFans page, then that money, she needs to give that money or share that money with her man. That, so they're legitimizing it in one hand, but in the other hand, when it's him in the hot seat and involved in an OnlyFans situation, now it's illegal in trafficking. So that's the goofiness of it.
The audience, you were being sarcastic when you said a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner.
No.
You didn't believe that?
No, it's not that. It's that you haven't watched the show at length, and you should have, because the woman was saying, my man's car belongs to me because he's my man. And she was on OnlyFans. And then 20 minutes later, when she said she was on OnlyFans, I said, well, you're selling your body, that belongs to him because he's your man. And she laughed, she laughed, and she said, yeah, that's probably true. If you watch the show, it will make sense. For you to come here with doing no research at all, and then say, I don't understand what I'm talking about, but I've got this piece of paper with a few things printed off, that's why you're saying the silly things you're saying. You should watch the show, do some research.
Do you believe it?
She just keeps going back to, but do you believe it? He explained the full context as best as he possibly could. A woman saying that if my man owns a car, that's my car, it belongs to him, it belongs to me, but she's on OnlyFans, then okay, then you it's like you're on OnlyFans, then what you do belongs to him. So your titties is a property, is a commodity that you're making money with on OnlyFans. So your titties belong to him. He drew a fair logical argument, but do you believe that? Do you believe that? Do you believe that he owns her titties?
I've already answered the question.
Not really.
Of course I have. Can we move on? I've answered the question.
Do you believe that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner?
Of course not. I've just answered the question.
Yeah, we've done that 3 times.
And does this woman believe that her man's car belongs to her? It's not a gendered argument. I really think that it's genuinely sad that when the BBC has a chance to finally interview me at the end of all this Matrix attack, that they don't come here with any kind of genuine openness to try and understand.
Cole Steele says Tate's weakening his case by getting riled up and being too defensive. All he had to do is use logic to explain why his positions are reasonable. I don't think he got too riled up. I think that was an acceptable amount of passion and aggression in an argument with somebody who's being a hostile interviewer. I think that was an acceptable amount. Now, obviously, there's a line, but there's a line. I understand, but I don't think he crossed that line to where he lost his shit. That like okay, if he would if he would have stood up like R. Kelly on some, I'm fighting for my life. If he would have did what R. Kelly did in that Gayle interview, okay, that's where that line has clearly been crossed over. But I don't take that route of saying, you know, every time that we see a man, you know, getting intense in an interview, in a passionate discussion, that, oh, he's losing, he ain't maintaining frame. You know, no, I don't do that. We clearly know that there's a line, and I don't think he crossed it. But shout out to Cartizana Chris in the building. Says when a husband goes to work, he needs to share his pay with his wife. I think it will be quite obvious that if let's just say she didn't work and she's going to work and he's going to work and he makes that money, that's also her money. He should share it with her. She's at home, she's taking care of the kids. Of course he should share his money with her. I mean, obviously. So if her sexuality is something that she gives to him in the relationship, but now she's making money giving aspects of it to somebody else, yes, she should share that with him. He do own a piece of that money. But just the blanket statement, does he own her breast? It's like, yeah, you could say yes to that statement, but then she got you. She got you with a sound bite. So he did good to say no to her gotcha question, but explaining it. So they don't get a soundbite worthy statement out of that. But thank you for the super chat, Cartizana Chris. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to that brother. Moderators put his link in the chat room. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit the like button if you're new here. Subscribe, donate, all of that good stuff. Do appreciate you. Let's go. So I really don't get how a man can handle his wife being a prostitute on the internet and stay sane at the same time. Nah, I couldn't do it.
Understand my influence over the world, or the things I push, or what I'm trying to teach the world, or why I'm a good influence on the world, because I am a massively good influence. Instead, they come here with pieces of paper with printed out excerpts from 5-year-old podcasts, taken out of context, to attempt the same matrix attack on me, which has been attempted endlessly. Every single person in Legacy Media has already tried this, and it doesn't work. I really encourage you to read the comment section on YouTube when this goes on YouTube, and you will see that nobody believes a word you're saying.
The reason we're asking you about these comments is because we've got the chief executive of Rape Crisis naming you individually as spreading a dangerous ideology of misogynistic rape culture.
Absolute.
It's the comments you made.
Now, out of all the stuff that Andrew Tate does, spreading misogynistic rape culture, no. You could argue that he's spreading some type of chauvinistic men over women in leadership when it comes to relationships or interpersonal relationships, dealing or interactions in general. Like, I haven't formally heard him say that women, I mean, I know how he feels personally, but in society at large, I haven't heard him say that women, you know, women shouldn't be working or in some type of leadership position. I haven't heard him say that exactly. I haven't heard that. But like that is a huge reach if you're talking about him, you know, spreading some type of grape culture. What he's talking about, and what most men in this space are talking about, is, you know, you being in position where something like that, doing something like that, isn't even a blip on your radar. Like, I mean, like that. So that's one of the biggest reaches. Basically, any man speaking up for men, any man giving a male-centric response, counter punch, clap back to all the woman-centric nonsense that's out there in the media. They want to associate that with grape culture. Like, that's Like that's ridiculous. Like that's, you know what? Sir Tice asked earlier in the stream, was this interview up there with, yeah, here we go. This was it right there. He had said earlier in the stream, is this up there with one of the top train wreck interviews of all time? You know, Umar, King, Randu, and Roland come to mind, LOL. You know what? I said no. I'm leaning more towards, yeah, this is my second time listening to it. This is my second time listening to it, and yeah, this is very train wrecky. You was right, Sir Tice. You were right. This is on some train wreck status. It really is. It really is. All day.
That are leading people to say things like
absolute garbage.
National organisations who are saying that are blaming you for increasing levels of misogyny. Schools that are saying they are having increased incidents of girls being attacked, of female teachers being harassed.
If that was true.
Oh my goodness. Y'all remember when that chick, I forgot her name, when she tried to say that there was an uptake in violence against women ever since Kevin Samuels, when Kevin Samuels blew up. Violence against women increased, and she tried to blame Kevin Samuels. Like, anybody with a brain knows and understands that, let's just say if 10,000 women get beat up per year on average, it can't be a regular 10. It can't be 10,000 on the nose every year. Like, everybody's smart enough to know that. It may be 947 one year, then maybe 10,031 the next year, then 987 the next year, then 10,012 the next year, you know, 990 one year, then 1050 the next year. It's going to basically go like this. So the chick basically tried to say the year that Kevin Samuels blew up, guess what? It happened to be on the up part of the up and down. He said 9,000. I threw out an arbitrary number just for math. You know, I threw out an arbitrary number. Don't pay no attention to that. 1,000, 1,000, 10,000. I forgot what I said. I think when I was giving my up-down graph example, I was using 1,000 as the center. So if it's 1,000 on average, one year it might be 950. The next year it might be 1,050. That's the simple point that I'm making. But either way it go, she took an uptake on the up and down graph and said, "Aha, it's an increase," but it was just a normal regular increase. A normal regular increase that had nothing to do with Kevin Samuels blowing up. Just a normal fluctuation. That's sort of what they're doing right now. They're saying we've seen an increase in the schools with boys and girls fighting each other. They're blaming Andrew Tate.
Executive of Rape Crisis, naming you individually as spreading a dangerous ideology of misogynistic rape culture.
Absolute.
It's the comments you make that are leading people to say things like
absolute
this.
Garbage.
National organisations who are saying that are blaming you for increasing levels of misogyny. Schools that are saying they are having increased incidents of girls being attacked, of female teachers being harassed.
If that was
by
true,
pupils,
if that
because of you and your.
No, I think that girls being attacked part is utter nonsense. I can see that him inspiring a high school boy to to say something slick to one of his female teachers. I can see that. He's probably inspired more young men to not pussyfoot and just say some real blunt, probably some slick shit, you know. I don't got time. I ain't got to put up. I ain't got to listen to your bullshit. He probably inspired a lot of that. I'll give him that. But rape and physical attacks against women, like, come on.
Well, that's absolute garbage. I have never, ever encouraged a student to attack a teacher, male or female, ever. I preach hard work, discipline. I'm an athlete. I preach anti-drug. I preach religion. I preach no alcohol. I preach no knife crime. Every single problem with modern society, I'm against. I'm teaching young men to be disciplined, to be diligent, to listen, to train, to work hard, to be exactly like me, with no criminal record, never even yet charged in this 14-month Matrix investigation. And I'm saying that if men grew up like me, which are hardworking and diligent and some emotional control and stoic, we're gonna have a better society, not a worse society. To sit here and say that schools in England, which is a failing nation, which has knife crime going through the roof, violence going through the roof, men's mental health going through the roof, and they're going to all blame me because I appeared on the internet 1 year ago, is disingenuous. It's disingenuous.
You
And
also,
also,
financial success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach. You teach that if a woman comes home and accuses you of cheating, you should hit her with a machete, shove her off.
Is that what I teach?
That's what you say.
No, if you actually watch the clip, it will be about the woman attacking me with a machete. As usual, you've not watched the video, taken it out of context, flipped it, and attempted to attack me with a small excerpt. Let me tell you something, Lucy. I'm sure you're a very nice person. I'm sure you're a fantastic person. But if I were to take everything you've ever said online and just take small excerpts out of context, I could make you look like a misogynist. I guarantee it. In fact, I might actually do that. And then you're going to sit here and say, oh shit, I'm a misogynist because my clips have been taken out of context. If you refuse to watch anything at length and understand it, then that's what's going to happen.
The National Police Chiefs League for Violence Against Women, the NSPCC, Rape Crisis, Safer Schools, they are all naming you as being behind an epidemic of misogyny, even amongst primary school children.
The idea that I made primary school children misogynist.
I didn't pause it earlier because I wanted to hear her flesh it out, but she's making, and Tice, not Sir Tice is saying it in the chat room right now, the leap. She's making a lot of leaps. It's like they have to really leap and really reach to try to make any point. Now, the first time I watched this, maybe it was a distracted listen. Maybe I didn't hear everything quite right, but yeah, like he is murdering her in this thing. Like he is really just savagely picking apart her nonsense, and you could just see the degree and level that they're grasping at straws. Like the only thing that you could possibly do, you could possibly try to argue a point that, you could probably argue that some of his points are extreme, but they're trying to charge him with crimes, and two, they're trying to make him be responsible for other statistical crimes that happen every year. And they're trying to say an increase in misogyny, which they call any and everything misogyny. It's like this is embarrassing. Like this is embarrassing. This is Kathy Newman, Jordan B. Peterson level. It really is. It truly is. The first time I listened to it, I didn't really see it. I was listening to it while driving. I was a little distracted. I was doing some other shit, but this is bad. Car designer Chris in the building says, I have questions, Miss Webb. Teacher, yes. Tommy, what's your dress size? Looks like a size 20 to me. Yeah, if anything, that's probably the truth. Like if they talk about people like Kevin Samuels when he blew up, and Andrew Tate now, that's probably the true effect they had on the youth, is that they'll probably just say some slick shit to teachers in the classroom. One of them teachers walking by with one of them big ass size 24 dresses and them orthopedic shoes, and I can see when she walk across the blackboard or whatever, one of the kids let out a boom 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 boom, like that. He probably inspired, Kevin Samuels probably inspired some middle schoolers and high schoolers to do some shit like that. I'll grant that all day. I will grant that all day. But they trying to charge these men up with an increase in domestic violence. Y'all are reaching. Y'all are reaching. But shout out to car designer Chris. Make sure you keep his links in the chat room. Make sure you keep his links in the chat room.
Because I own a nice car. Is that your
It's
argument?
the misogyny that comes along with it.
Oh, owning a nice car is misogynist.
No, it's the misogyny that comes along with it.
How does misogyny come along with owning a nice car?
Because you have an image of financial
I'm glad you're answering my questions now. We finally got the dynamic.
You have an image of financial success.
Answer my questions, as you should.
Excuse me. You have an image of financial success, but it comes along with attitudes towards women that are really problematic.
My attitudes towards women is that women should be protected and provided for, and I've said that at length. In fact, I've said that over 50 times online, you never mention it. I say that my girlfriend doesn't have to work unless she wants to, I take care of her, I die to protect a woman. I've talked about how I've stood up and faced a knife to protect a woman.
And in return, you want authority over her in the way you have over a child or a dog.
Absolutely not. I've said that women should be protected and provided for. And
in return, you want authority over her, because if you have responsibility for someone like a child or a dog, you say, you have authority over them.
If you want to go down this argument, we'll go down this nuanced argument. I said that if I have responsibility for her safety, I should have a degree of authority over her safety. Meaning, and let me explain my point. If I'm the one who has to fight and die to protect her, I'm the one who decides how we walk home. I'm the one who decides the route we take. Because it's unfair for her to say, I want to walk through the most dangerous neighborhood in the world, but you have to face the knives. That's what I've said. And they're going to sit here and pretend that I'm trying to treat women like dogs, which is garbage.
The manosphere arguments are right. What was said right there cannot be argued with. Those are the things that have been said in this space, in channels like mine and so many others for so long. Now, I'm glad. I am glad that those type of arguments are getting put on mainstream news. They probably clipped that part. Because they just want to hear the part where he's saying, you believe that you should have authority over a woman like a dog or a child. But when you break down the logic of it, that if you ask any of them point blank period, is a man to protect a woman? Yes, he has to protect that woman. Okay, then he obviously should have authority over the things that she do in the places that she go. She can't just go and say that, okay, I need you to protect me. I'm about to go walk through the most dangerous neighborhood ever. Okay, no, the hell you're not. Because if some shit go down, I'm going to be the one out there having to put my life on the line. So no, you can't go there. No, you can't wear that. No, you can't say this. No, you can't say that. No. Do you want my protection or not? Especially if we start talking about this from a standpoint of Black America, Black women, the ones who's complaining about not being protected, how they the most unprotected women ever. Especially if we go down that route, it's like, yeah, the most unprotected. You want that protection? This is how it looks. It comes with somebody having a degree of authority over you. You can't beat that argument. Her argument, if you follow it all the way home, follow the logic all the way home, is you want women to have full creative control to do whatever they want to do, how they want to do it, and men are to just sit back, let them do whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, whenever they want to do it, but go dive on the grenade after they, after the outcomes of what they're doing happen. Go dive on the grenade after the fact. We be talking about the differences Black women and white women. That we've broken down 7, all day, every day, how Black women are basically on that. But now you're seeing a educated, sophisticated white woman with probably a master's degree working for the BBC, not that BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. She probably worked for the other BBC too, but we're not going to talk about that. But we're seeing her making the same argument. We're seeing her making the same exact argument.
single man in the world who loves this woman understands that he has to protect her. And every single woman in the world likes the idea of a man who would protect her. If you were to say to most women home right now, do you want your husband to protect you in a violent attack? They'd say, yeah, of course. Nothing I've said is misogynistic.
If you said to most women, would you want to lose authority in the relationship, to not be treated as a free and legal equal to your
I didn't say that. I said I need to have authority over the route we walk home.
Ooh, man, the arguments are terrible. Those arguments are terrible, just terrible.
When you compare women and the authority over women that you believe you should have to having authority over a child or a dog, it's not the same, because a woman is a free, legal adult.
Correct.
You're equal.
Free, legal.
He just literally explained that, and she just like malfunctioned and went back to her original argument. But he already explained that. Yeah, hang on one quick second. Play some Jeopardy music or something real quick. I got to do something. Hold on.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
All right.
Suck on my chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth. Put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them.
All right. We are back. Okay. We might not be all the way. All right. True Hype in the building. He says it's interesting to examine her body language. I haven't been paying that much attention to her body language. He says it's interesting to examine her body language plus non-makeup, non-polished looked. I didn't pay no attention. Didn't even have her hair done. Wonder why they went this direction. Yeah, you are like really I don't want to say overthinking, but you're thinking outside the box. No, she just looked normal. I can't tell if she got on makeup or no makeup. I can't tell if she not. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. They do an interview with somebody like Andrew Tate, where they seem like they would get their prettiest, blondest interviewer to come and try to throw him off or something. See if she can get him to try to see what will bring out more misogyny. A frumpy chick or a beautiful chick? What will bring out more misogyny? I don't know. That's an interesting point. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate it. All right. All right. Here. All right. All right, let's go.
Adult, my equal. But if I had a girlfriend and we were walking home late at night and I said, let's not walk down that area, it's a bad area, I have to protect you if anything happens, I want to take the long way. And she said, no, I have to walk this way, even though it's the most dangerous route, I must.
Then what?
Then I would say, you're welcome to, you could do it, you're a free and legal equal, but I'm not going to walk with you and protect you. I think that I should be able to decide the route because I have an obligation. And my obligation as a man is to protect and provide for females. Everything I'm talking about is traditional gender roles, which 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, would not be considered outlandish, would not be considered crazy, would not be considered dangerous or misogynistic. I have an obligation. And my obligation as a man is to protect and provide for females. Everything I'm talking about is traditional gender roles, which 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, would not be considered outlandish, would not be considered crazy, would not be considered dangerous or misogynistic. The world has changed, and a lot of people haven't changed with the world. Please understand there's a lot of women at home watching this right now who like the idea of their man sticking up for them, protecting them, and providing.
I remember a while ago, this was it was a podcast I used to listen to, it was called Dogma Debate. The guy named David Smalley. He's I'm not even going to get into what that show is about, but I know he's on the he's on the left, but no, I think he's on the left like Bill Maher is on the left. The left kind of got wacky and kind of deconverted him a little bit, but I know he was hardcore on the left back when I used to listen to him. Hell, I guess I was too. Even though I never really thought about it, maybe. But anyway, it don't matter. Don't matter. I used to listen to his podcast, and this was around the time. This was actually part of the time when I started to realize something wasn't right. This was when the whole trans bathroom stuff first started happening, and I remember the men who were being called misogynistic or transphobic. Their argument was essentially, no, we want to protect women and children. And as a society, I don't think we're protecting women and children by having biological men with dicks in the girls' bathroom and locker room. That's all. That was their argument. So when Andrew Tate said some 10, 15 years ago, nobody had a problem with what he was saying. He's right. There were certain, socially accepted norms where men were still on the protection thing, and it made sense. What reciprocated from that is that, yeah, those who protect have some authority and can make the call. That was understood. But I remember being there at ground zero where the pushback against that whole concept was real strong, because these was all white women, and it was like a town hall argument, and white women was in the crowd saying, "We don't need your protection." I remember that. This was probably about 2010, 12, maybe 2012, maybe. Like, so when he's saying that some time ago, it was understood quite well, the dynamic between male and female, where the whole protection comes in. They want the protection. They don't want the authority. So some men are removing the protection. That's the next card that's being played here. And a lot of people in the black manosphere catch a lot of flack for that. And I thought some people went too extreme on it. I don't care how innocent a chick look, and if a dude could just walk up to her and just belly to back suplex her and just start stealing her shit, and I'm just going, yeah, hey, ain't my problem. I don't know her. She just was minding her business and just got mugged. Men should just look at it and, oh well, shit happens. That's kind of an extreme view, but if you listen to what she's talking about, and you listen to where a lot of women are going with this whole thing that I could do what I want, I don't need your protection, no man can tell me what to do, no authority over me, blah, 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 blah. You don't get even basic general masculine respect. We were 100% equal, blah, 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 blah. When you go fully on that route, when you go fully in that direction, well, what you expect the men to do? Do you want them to be men and protect? Or do you want them to, sit idly by? Oh, men can protect? You want men to protect? Okay, then yet men got to be calling shots then. Like, it's a real simple concept. Now, I'm not even fully converted to the it's none of my business realm. Like, if I see the whole play develop and I know she was in the wrong, then it ain't none of my business. But if I see an innocent, weaker person in society being taken advantage of by a bigger, stronger person, if I think I can do something to help, I will. That's where I'm at with it. But I have to truly believe, see, and recognize that this is a weaker and an innocent and weaker person in society. But even if you think like me, that it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. Why? Because you're gonna later find out that this person probably still has the same, even though she's gonna appreciate you maybe in that moment, she's gonna get up and walk away from that whole situation and have the same ideology as this chick right here. You know, so you're putting yourself in a rock and a hard place. You for damn sure shouldn't be intervening if like that's her actual man. You intervene, risk your life, and she's gonna go right back to fucking him. It's like no. Situations like that. I'm talking about a random mugging. I'm talking about a random mugging. If you think you can do something and you assess the situation and you measure the cost, if you see a weaker person in society, by weaker person in society, I'm talking about a woman or child who's done nothing to put themselves in that situation. I still believe men should intervene. Sort of like that situation. Oh, well, that's different. I was about to say the situation on the plane where they got on the PA and said, available men come to the cockpit or whatever. It's a man trying to break into the cockpit. We need available men to come grab and apprehend him. Well, obviously in that situation, that man, for his own safety, going to get up and do something about it, because that guy getting in the cockpit, he's going to try to crash the plane. But we have a general understanding that when shit goes down, men are supposed to step up. My point is, and I think everybody's point is, if women are speaking the way that this woman is speaking and fighting against what Andrew Tate is saying, the eventuality of that, these men who y'all are trying to socialize into being more effeminate are going to stop stepping up. And we can already see that it's starting. There's already a groundswell and uproar happening right now, where a lot of men who are still masculine men are saying, okay, if y'all want to play that game, I'll play that game with you. It's none of my business. It's, you know, I'm just going to watch it happen. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. I'm Walter White. I'm the Dark Knight. I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either.
And just because the world has gone crazy and the legacy media has gone crazy, most people at home are still relatively sane. And these are the people who are going to write on the comments that Andrew wasn't saying anything that's outlandish. It's the whole world believes these things.
I don't know why you do this. I don't know why you do this. I told you. Same as why I told you. They come in, they smile, they shake their hands, and then they read one fucking line excerpts from Black Girl.
It's fine. It's fine.
I have no idea what's going on right now. I don't know if they had to stop to powder her nose or coach her on what question to ask. I don't know what's happening right now.
That's fine. I'm having a nice conversation with you, so I'm enjoying it. So it's no problem. It's been fun so far. It's fine. We good?
Yes.
Tell me when.
Do you want to clap again?
Yes, no. We didn't stop, no?
I can do the clap. Now we good?
No, thank you.
If a man broke into your house, wouldn't you want your husband to protect you?
There's a difference between conservative values and emotional control, coercive control.
We're talking about protection now, and I'm saying if someone broke into your house, would you want your husband to protect you?
It's not about conservative values or protection, it's what you're demanding in return for that.
Well, I'll give you this. I don't know who your husband is. I don't know if he would stand up to protect you or die for you, but I'll give you this. If someone broke into this house right now and was a homicidal maniac, I would expect me and the other men in this room to stand up and face them while you and the other women in this room could protect yourselves. I would actually believe the men should go and engage the attacker. I believe that. And even though I don't know you, and you've come into my house with a hostile agenda, and you've come here to try and make me look bad, I would still stand up to protect you. I would still stand up to protect you because I believe that's my role as a man.
I am asking you about things that you have said that have caused major national organizations, including the police, to worry about you by name. That's what I'm asking you about.
It's not what I say.
It's not about whether you protect your partner or not. It's about what you have said that has caused such concern in the UK. And I want to put it to you that you don't really care about the harm it causes.
That's not true.
Because
that's not true.
Making controversial statements like this online has made you a lot of money.
Okay, so first thing, I genuinely am a force for good in the world. You may not understand that yet, but you will eventually. And I genuinely believe I'm acting under the instruction of God to do good things, and I want to make the world a better place. I genuinely believe my legacy is a good legacy, and I believe that eventually when the legacy media catches up, they're going to understand I'm a good positive influence. I'm not interested in damaging the world for money, because if I was interested in damaging the world for money, I could have sold drugs, or I could make rap music and encourage everyone to stab each other like all the drill artists do.
Or you could make controversial.
Andrew Tate, I've heard you rap. You could not make money rapping. No. That wasn't an option. You could have sold drugs and made money and damaged the world. You could have damaged the world with rap, but not made money while doing it. You couldn't make money rapping. That.
I know the way of living was whack. She don't get it back like that.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on and play a little more. Actually a lot. Let's see. How much of this have we played thus far? It's about 10 more minutes left in it. Let's go.
Social statements online that attract a lot of followers who you then direct to your website
they pay. I could make jokes. Sure. I mean, I could make jokes online. Who doesn't? I mean, I could make a joke online.
Are you saying that all the controversial things you said are jokes?
No, I'm saying that these organizations and the BBC who are going to sit here and pretend that I am the face of damaging the youth is absolutely garbage. It's completely.
Indigo Flow says, Bernard, you're speaking from an American sensibility. You never know. He might pop off on the other side of the pond. Look, man. I heard his rap. All right. That shit wasn't popping nowhere. All right. That shit wouldn't pop in nowhere in this solar system. I guarantee. I heard it. Nah. It wouldn't happen. It was not happening.
Disingenuous. And the reason
I'm sorry, we have agreed to do an interview where you are going to ask questions that are going to give us the opportunity to clarify some things. These are very loaded questions.
Sorry.
And so far, I'm sorry, I have arranged this and I'm talking right now.
Uh-oh.
So, these are very loaded questions, and this is not what we discussed, and this is not the conversation that we agreed to.
We were very clear that the questions
You're sitting there.
I don't know if that's Andrew Tate lawyer, but that is a woman defending him. I know the audio was a little low, but yeah, she was basically said we've agreed to an interview. We will ask questions. She was basically saying these are very loaded questions. It's been a lot of have you stopped beating your wife yet type questions. More of them are about to be coming because I did listen to it, but she had to jump in and try to get them straightened out.
You're sitting there and just accusing. We're not here to face new allegations. This has all been discussed. Answers have been provided. So if we could please move on from this side of the interview, I would appreciate it.
I would like to hear what Andrew has got to say about the fact that when you make controversial statements, it attracts people to follow you, and then you direct them to your website where they pay you a monthly fee to learn how to be like you. And so the more controversial statements you make, the more money you get.
The fact that that's the path you've outlined to one, my online university, and two, my presence on the internet, the fact that you believe that's the path just shows you've done absolutely zero research. Genuinely zero research.
Okay, so how many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University come to you through your social media?
Genuinely zero research.
How many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University come to you through your social media where you direct them to the website?
And Lucy,
all right, now he's being dismissive of what she's saying. However, what's wrong with that? If his strategy is to, I don't even know what he sell on Hustle University. I think it's $50 a month. I don't know what you get for that $50. I have no clue. I have no clue. I've never not once went to hustlersuniversity.com. I don't know what's going on over there. But if his strategy is to blow up on the internet by saying controversial things that he just proved that he could back up all those controversial things in a live argument and debate because he just did with her. But those controversial things, if you just hear it, if you just hear him say the soundbite, now it sounds like he said something completely awful, sounds like he said something horrible, but he can defend and back it up in live debate. But those sound bites make people say, "Whoo, did you hear what this guy said? Oh, did you hear what this guy said? Where is this guy? How do I find this guy?" And then they stumble to his website and they find out about Hustle University, and then they see that, oh, he's talking about how to make money and how to do this and how to do that and how to be big and awesome like him. But he's using the sound bites on the internet to blow up and get people talking about him and get people sharing it so they can end up coming to his website and then paying him $50 to learn how to learn whatever the hell they learning. That sounds like a good modern social media business. That's not like, what the hell? That sounds like a good modern day business to me. It's like they keep accusing him of doing a lot of not illegal stuff and then lump it in with some legal stuff that nobody can prove that he did. What's wrong with doing what if his business strategy is exactly like what she described? How is that a problem? How?
I encourage you to go out there, do some genuine research, watch my videos. Of course, watch my videos at length and truly understand what I'm doing.
How many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University at $49.99 a month come to you because they see your social media comments?
There's an online.
All of them. So what? It's like it's like, damn. That's like if that's literally the equivalent of a woman going on Instagram and taking, little backshot pictures, those pictures where they turn around and face the camera and do the shot from the back, doing heavy cleavage pictures and little video selfies where she licking her lips, and she putting all that on Instagram to lure people into her OnlyFans. But now she got videos all over Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and everywhere else. What's the other ones? I can't even think of the other places that people post videos. Rumble, who knows? She got videos all over all over Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So in an interview, if somebody was to say to this chick with a straight face, so how many of your OnlyFans subscribers first found out about you through videos posted on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube? All of them, motherfucker. Like what? That's the business strategy. It's like they're basically asking him a bunch of normal shit as if it's a crime. As if we don't understand that, yeah, chicks put racy sexual pictures on Instagram to lure people to their OnlyFans to watch them do some lewd stuff. He puts controversial sounding provocative statements in that gets clipped and put in short reels and spammed all over the internet, and that eventually lures people to his hustlersuniversity.com where they, I don't know, learn how to mine Krypton and have somebody drop ship it for him. I don't know, but I mean, listen, I don't know what the fuck he's selling. Telling people how to drop ship kryptonite. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing over there. I don't know. But whatever it is that he's doing over there that supposedly is helping people make money, he's using controversial videos to lure people in. Sounds like a good content strategy to me.
Online school called Hustlers University, which I don't own. I influence for along with many other influencers, and they sign up for your website, which I don't own. And once again,
hit the like button. If you're new here, subscribe. Support the stream, all that good stuff. Let's go.
Once again, that's nothing to do with me. And you're going to sit here and say that I made a joke. I made a joke online 4 years ago because a woman said that she owned her man's car, and you made a joke, and that means that you, because you're Bugatti, are the most misogynistic, dangerous man in the world. This is going down a path of absolute insanity. It's not true. None of this is true. I don't hurt people. I don't harm people. I'm genuinely a positive influence.
You are renowned.
I'm renowned
for offensive and controversial.
That's not why I'm renowned. I'm actually renowned. I'm actually renowned for helping young men, because we talk about there's a men's mental health crisis, and we pretend to care that men are upset. But as soon as I discuss men's issues, it's misogynistic. It doesn't have to be gendered. Just because I believe men have a point of view and men have rights and men are allowed to think and believe and act a certain way that helps them internally, that doesn't mean it's anti-female. In fact, I believe it's actually pro-female. I think when a man is true to his influence and true to his essence, and he's good within himself, he's a positive influence in the world, and he's positive for the women around him. So just because I discuss men's issues, people say, oh...
I stand by that. Even though the manosphere content is not for women, we barely talk to women, and even when we talking directly to women, it's typically for the entertaining and the entertainment and or knowledge for men. But I do stand by that if you change the worldview of men and how men think and how men operate and how men move, and if men are doing better, moving better, operating better, becoming more successful, more masculine, more in all of that. If men become all of that, even though some people don't like it, some people have a hardcore MGTOW philosophy to it, but men being better at the end of the day, it benefits women. It's going to benefit women because it don't matter how much of a hardcore MGTOW message is embedded into a lot of the manosphere or red pill spaces. No matter how much of a hardcore men going their own way message is embedded into that, men like pussy, and and that man who's doing better, there will end up being a woman in his life that's going to benefit from him doing better one way or another. The idea is to get it as much on your terms as possible, if not all 100% on your terms. The flaw in that is once you go and sign legally binding documents at the courthouse, now you've given up some terms. Now she has more control over the terms should she go left. That's really that's only the crux of it where it ends up being a problem. But overall, you help a man, you give a man a house. You help a man do better. You give a man a house. Most of them likely to start a family in it. You empower a woman. You've empowered her to be strong, independent, and not need a man. And now she's over there without a man, raising kids by herself, fucking the kids up. Versus if that man is doing good, he's eventually going to end up with a woman and be taking care of a woman and kids, which means there's a structured family, and now the kids aren't going to be fucked up. So at the end of the day, in a roundabout way, even with all the chauvinistic stuff that will come out of the mouth of somebody like Andrew Tate that you will hear even on my channel from time, I'm trying to downplay my chauvinism today. But even with all of it in a roundabout way, it ends up being better for men, but in a roundabout way, it ends up being better for women. Now, if all they want is freedom, if their goal is freedom to do what they want to do when they want to do it, how they want to do it, and they want men to bail them out on whatever terms that the woman require, then it turns into a situation where it's not beneficial at all for the men. But I mean, it will be beneficial for the men to operate and move the way that men like Andrew Tate is talking about, and it will also in the end be beneficial for women. They just got to give up a little control. They don't want to do that. Oh well, men should still move exactly the way that he's saying that they should move. Put yourself first. Any woman that's going to end up being around you or dealing with you going to be dealing with you completely 100% on your terms. If it's any message, that's the message. If it's any message, that's the message on your terms. You can do that individually. It's hard to do that in a macro way from a top-down legalistic governmental standpoint, but as an individual man, you can move and operate that way and have a modicum of success in this modern day time. Let's go.
you're anti-woman. I'm not anti-woman, I love women.
Why are so many women saying that when their boyfriends start following you,
they're not.
They experience more control.
So many.
They experience
How many?
More abuse.
How many?
Enough.
More control, I agree. More abuse, I think she's lying.
Enough.
Enough.
Well, this is the first time I've heard of it. So, in fact...
One is too many.
Oh, of course, yeah. So, in fact, I've seen thousands and thousands of comments and have endless emails from women praising the fact that their sons are listening to me, praising the fact that their husbands.
The things I'm saying, does it not worry you?
It would worry. It would worry.
You're not concerned about
it. It would worry me if I was genuinely damaging the world. But for you to sit here and say, Andrew, you've become the most Googled man in the world. You have billions of views, and one is now saying that her husband is not the same man she wants him to be. When thousands and thousands of people are saying the opposite, well, then I would say that's.
I presented you with case after case after case, with quote after quote after quote of people who are genuinely.
I love how he said. You're talking about one woman who's saying her man is not the man that she wants him to be. That was very cleverly worded by him because it sort of highlights the fact that this man may not be doing nothing wrong. He's just not acting he's not being a good little boy in the way that she wants him to be a good little boy. That's important. Tana in the building says, "What's up, Bernard? Andrew had the journalist looking stupid after a while. She really wasn't ready for this." No, she wasn't.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want.
She was not ready. She wasn't ready. But yeah, agreed.
Concerned about the impact you're having, and you brush it off.
Thank you for the $10 super chat. Do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who supports the stream.
As if it's nothing.
No, what you have done is come here with an agenda. You come here with loaded questions. You come here with things taken out of context. You come here with things that you don't understand are satirical. And then you're going to also sit and say that one woman said that her boyfriend changed when he watched one of your videos. And then I don't know what you expect me to say to that. That's
sarcastic and jokes.
No.
That's how you explain the comments you make.
For you to sit down.
Would you like to apologize for any of them?
For you to sit down.
Now she's doing the Piers Morgan. Would you like to apologize? Would you like to apologize today? You should apologize. Are you sorry that you said that? Are you sorry that you said this? That's what Piers Morgan did to her whole interview, just trying to get him to say sorry.
For you to sit down. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's easy. For you to sit down and say that one woman said that her boyfriend watched an Andrew Tate video and now he won't do the dishes, or whatever your argument is, and that I'm somehow the worst, most dangerous man in the world because I have a car, is just disingenuous. And I'm enjoying this interview very much because this shows the world. It's great. It shows the world the truth about the legacy media because they beg me for interviews. They beg me. You have been begging me for months. Please, we need to be relevant. And then you come here with loaded questions trying to paint a picture of me, which is completely and utterly false. I am a good positive influence for the world. The things I teach men are stoicism, discipline, self-respect, hard work, obeying authority, listening to your fight coach, working hard in school, making as much money as possible in your job. If you actually watch the things I say, if you actually watch my comments about women, I've done long podcasts for hours long about females, talking about protecting for them, providing for them, how I believe a woman should be treated in a relationship. I've done all of this, but you don't watch any of it, and then you come here and ask me that, answer questions I've answered at length thousands of times.
Since you came out of custody, there seems to have been a lot about your charity work.
Correct.
On your social
media. I've always done the charity work, but now I'm promoting it.
There seems to be a real shift.
Yeah.
I wonder what's behind that.
Well, I've always done the charity work. I've been doing the charity work for years. I believe that it's my legacy to leave a positive influence on the world, and I've been doing charity work for over 5 years. Post my incarceration, my unfair, unjust incarceration, may I add. Post that, I've made it more clear the charity work I'm doing. But this is, once again, very interesting. I spend $25 million a year feeding children. Men, male children, and female children. In Turkey, and Syria, and Iran, and Iraq, I literally spend $25 million a year feeding children. And I'm still the worst man in the world because 4 years ago I made a sarcastic comment?
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money.
Made it more clear the charity work I'm doing. But this is, once again, very interesting. I spend $25 million a year feeding children. Men, male children, and female children. In Turkey, and Syria, and Iran, and Iraq, I literally spend $25 million a year feeding children.
I had to rewind that to see if he really said $25 million a year feeding children. That's a lot of damn money. I mean, goddamn, I know Nino Brown was passing out turkeys on Thanksgiving, but $25 million? Like, that's shit. Like that's a lot of money. I didn't know he had 25 million to be slinging, like just be passing out like Nino Brown passing out turkeys on Thanksgiving. I didn't know he had it like that. I know he's rich, but I didn't know he had it like that.
And I'm still the worst man in the world because 4 years ago I made a sarcastic comment?
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money from attracting people to your website by making controversial comments, but that might have got you into trouble. And so now you're looking for a new...
He said, was that a cut? No. Like, you mean like an edit cut? Like, no, sometimes I rewind shit. I need to hear it again to make sure I heard what I thought I heard. I'm assuming he meant 25. I just assumed 25 million a year. Even if a lifetime. I mean, even if over the last 5 years. I don't know how long you been rich. 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, who knows? I don't know. 25 million is a lot of million. I guess it's time to pocket watch. I'm about to Google Andrew Tate's net worth.
New market. You're looking for a new market of followers who are attracted by a different sort of persona.
I've always done the charity work, so that is obviously incorrect. And I have proof that I've always done the charity work, so you're wrong, firstly. I believe that if you have a lot of wealth, you should help people, and I'm helping people. I also think it's very, very interesting that you could not find another celebrity in the UK or anywhere else who's spending 25 million pounds a year feeding children in war-torn countries. I'm doing that.
All right, that's an astronomical number. It says ex-kickboxer Andrew Tate is an overnight internet celebrity with an estimated net worth of $365 million. That's a whole hell of a lot. Iron, you dropped a bomb on that 365 million? That was RM's bomb drop. Dane C says BS. That seems like it seems like way too. That seems like a lot. That seems like an awful lot. I mean, if you 365 million, that's so much to the point to where that's so much to the point to where now somebody could do him like they do like y'all know the limousine liberals who donate shit and then they try to make it seem like they're so altruistic and they care about the urban development communities and blah 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 blah, but really they just they made so much money that they gotta find somewhere to write off the taxes. Gotta help with the taxes. Like that's a lot of like when you make the way the system is set up, if you make that much damn money, if you got that much damn money, you gotta donate it for tax purposes. You gotta donate it for the tax write-off. You might as well give it somewhere that you would like to see it go, other than just giving it to the government. That's what that comes down to. Like for real. Like if I was worth $400 million and had it coming in like that to where and I had to pay taxes on this shit, yeah, I'd be giving away a lot of damn money too. I'd be giving away a lot of damn money. I'd rather give it where I want it to go than give it to Sleepy Joe. I'd much rather do that.
And I've been doing that for a long time without even mentioning it. I never even said it. And now that I've said it, children in war-torn countries, a lot of wealth, you should help people, and I'm helping. Now it is worth pointing. Shit, what was I about to say? I was about to say something. Google net worths, I hear they're very suspect. I mean, it's all you got to go on. Oh, Dane C is already beating me to the punch. He says a lot of celebrities have said the Google net worths are false. Yeah. So they are, but it's all we got to go on. So either way it goes, I mean, hey, he's rich as hell. He's super rich. He's we can just say he's rich as hell. All right. I knew he was rich, but I didn't know it was in that 365 million territory. But all right, let's go. I also think it's very, very interesting that you could not find another celebrity in the UK or anywhere else who's spending 25 million pounds a year feeding children in war-torn countries. I'm doing that, and I've been doing that for a long time without even mentioning it. I never even said it. And now that I've said it, people are going to attack me for it and say that it's disingenuous.
Just to
The person in Sudan who's eating the meal, do you think they believe it's disingenuous? No, I think they feel pretty good that Andrew Tate fed them. And to sit here and say that I'm a bad person now because I'm manipulating charity, because I'm using charity, I'm just trying to do good in the world. That's all I've ever been trying to do.
When women speak out against you online, disagree with what you say, they describe being bombarded with rape threats.
One thing that she said is that you're advertising your charity stuff to try to appeal to a different audience now, or something like that. Try to lure a different type of get your message to a different type of different group. Like again, constantly accusing him of things that are not a problem or not illegal. Like, I mean, it's like that's not an issue. Now she's moving the conversation to the point of trying to essentially, she's saying that when women speak out against him or he have a conversation with a woman, that his audience, his fans go attacking or going after that woman of some sort, in some way.
With death threats, trolling by your followers. Would you like to say anything to your followers about how to behave in that situation?
Absolutely, correct. I would love to do that. First things first, I've yet to see a female stand up and argue with me online. I don't ever see hardly any. Although only women who message me agree with it. Secondly, I don't think that anybody who disagrees with me, male or female, should be trolled. I don't think they should be insulted or attacked. I think the ideas should be discussed openly and fairly and maturely. It doesn't matter if a man agrees with me or disagrees with me, or a female. I don't think my followers should come along and attack her, and if my followers are doing that, I'm upset by that. But let's make a very important clarification. That's not my followers. That's the internet. If you were to log into any video game lobby, I don't play video games, and someone were to sit there and say something stupid, they would be trolled with similar comments. That's the unfortunate reality of the internet as a whole. That's nothing to do with me. But I encourage all of my followers to engage in open discourse and be fair and honest and talk in a way which is mature. There's no need to troll anybody, male or female.
Okay.
Kathy,
a couple of things. I wonder if it would be worth giving Andrew one more opportunity.
It's like she looked away, like she had to, like, trying to phone a friend. She's calling for a lifeline, it looked, after he said got done talking.
Sure, there's no need to troll anybody, male or female.
Okay.
Kathy,
Yeah, like she's looking ridiculous. She's looking ridiculous.
A couple of things. I think it would be worth giving Andrew one more opportunity to consider whether or not he would like to apologise or give an indication of how he feels about the allegations that he has negatively influenced young people in the UK. And secondly, I think we should put on record that this interview is taking place in your house because you're under house arrest. If it were not for that, then we would have chosen another location. I'm sure we would have negotiated that between us. So I think that's just worth putting on record.
Okay. So just to put on the record then, you've said that you've invited us into your house.
Correct.
We're here because you're under house arrest.
Correct.
If you
No guarantees. I guarantee. That's another Charles Barkley one. When he guaranteeing somebody going to win or something going to happen, he's always wrong. He's always wrong. But he says, Pastor BR, this broad looks like olive oil. That's Popeye, this girl from Popeye, the seller man. This girl looks like olive oil. No wonder she has an axe to grind. Shout out to you. Do appreciate you coming through on the super chat and appreciate everybody supporting the stream. Shout out to each and every one of you. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
were free to leave, we would have negotiated a more neutral setting.
Don't you think, as the BBC, it would be very interesting to come here and discuss the fact that I was put in a dungeon for 92 days and then locked in house arrest without charge? Don't you think that's a far more interesting conversation than old YouTube snippets? Don't you think that would be interesting?
You're here under house arrest because there's an ongoing investigation into rape and human trafficking allegations against you.
Correct. I've been incarcerated without charge. And don't you think
The rape allegation
it's been dropped?
has been incarcerated for.
Correct. So I'm incarcerated without charge, and I think that would be a far more interesting conversation than, I guess, Julian Assange is incarcerated without charge, and nobody's interested in that either. So if you actually wanted to do some genuine journalism and investigation, we could talk about the fact that an innocent man who is yet to be charged with a crime has had his liberty deprived of him. And I think that would be a far more interesting angle than talking about me being the most dangerous man in the world because I own a car.
And this question about schools being very worried about your influence.
Yeah.
Boys in primary school, or boys as young as 11 are quoting you at school, attacking girls, refusing to respect female teachers.
Yeah.
Would you like to say anything about that?
I'd like to say a lot. First things first, as I've repeatedly said, and the only reason I keep repeating it is because I'm sure this interview will be edited. I am a positive force for the world, and I teach children discipline. I teach the world discipline, male or female, of any age. And a lot of women listen to me as well. 40% of the people who listen to me are actually female. Secondly, I do understand with my massive influence, and I am now the one of the most influential people on the planet, that I do have to be slightly more careful with things I say. I'm not going to disagree with that. The idea that I said something 5 years ago on a video that got 300 views...
So what do you mean, being slightly more careful?
I'll give you an example. Some of the jokes I made 4 or 5 years ago on a YouTube channel that got 300 views, I would no longer make...
Like what?
Like the OnlyFans joke, the one you mentioned repeatedly. When she said, my man's car is my car. And then she said she did OnlyFans. And I said, what do you saw on OnlyFans? She said, my tits. And I said, well, those are your man's tits. As a joke, ha ha ha, everybody laughed. The fact that I could do that on a podcast 5 years ago and only got 300 views, now I understand I'm the most influential man on the face of the planet. I would be more careful with certain things I say. That doesn't mean the things I originally said were genuinely out to harm people.
Do you really believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled person on the planet.
Do you believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
I think we're done.
Yep. Thanks, Lucy. It was enjoyable. Nice to meet you.
And that is the interview, pretty much, more or less. That is the interview. Nothing really happened after that. It was like a long, slow getting up process where it looked like he was taking forever. Like he tried to get up and then the mic got entangled or whatever the hell. Nothing, So that was pretty much it. But yeah, my first time listening to this, I knew she was asking ridiculous questions and playing. Oh shit. Okay, I never saw this part right here. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Why did it just speed jump like that? Is that just some...
Thanks, Lucy. It was enjoyable.
That's some editing.
Nice to meet you.
Looked like it was some editing. Let me see what's going on there with that. That's probably nothing.
Fun. It's good. I enjoyed it. De-mic me. I don't want to damage anything.
Yeah, they would have accused him of breaking their shit had he tried to take the mic off and was pulling on wires and cords and something broke. It would have Andrew Tate damaged our property after an irate, abrupt ending to the interview.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice to meet you. Goodbye. The very polite staff.
Finally, you get to see Andrew's side. Guys, comment your thoughts in the comment section, please.
All right. There were some smarter content creators who realized and fully understood that, one, Andrew Tate don't give a damn about anybody playing his shit. And I think that was the copy that he originally posted on Rumble. So the people that was quick and smart on the uptake, they went and downloaded it from there and just uploaded it on their channel like original work. And that's who I believe I just lifted that off of. But shout out to Hoop Jargon in the building, says Andrew is bodying this broad. Throw the damn towel, like the guy in Rocky 4. They ain't seen the building, says the BBBC, 3 B's. The BBBC is the winning. Sure, they got hella views. Yeah, that's what he was saying. He was talking like he did them a favor. Like, I did y'all a favor. I'm making y'all relevant. And we sort of moving in that place where the media is only as relevant as, independent media. Independent media is the new thing that's going to be taken over. Places like hell, the Valuetainment, Patrick Bet Davis, like that. I think I said his name right. People like that are going to be big and building big enough media companies that to where they're going to truly compete. They're going to truly compete. Like when they offered Tucker Carlson that $100 million, and I don't know how long of a contract that was, 5 years, 4 years, I don't know. But if independent media can start offering people $100 million contracts, like he can sound like he about to go play for the Atlanta Braves or some shit, like, yeah, that's going to change the game. That's going to change the game forever. Shout out to True Hype in the building, says he actually was running a successful cam girl site, which back in the day might as well been a printing machine. If he owns multiple supercars, including Bugattis, plural, it wouldn't surprise me if his net worth was higher. Very possible. Very possible. I mean, I was taken aback by that, how high Google said his net worth was. I didn't know it was that high. I just didn't know.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Hoop Jogging, for the $2 super chat, and thank you, True Hype, for the $20 bomb drop super chat. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate that. But yeah, no, they yeah, but I definitely put that back up there. I definitely get what you're saying, that if he was running that cam girl site, that's the beginning of the interview. Was hoping don't get lost in translation. I tried to explain that on my pre-record, that basically what they're doing with him, essentially what they're doing with him with the whole legal thing and spending, I don't know what he spent, like 90 days in jail. They're trying to get him on charges. Running that cam girl site was legal. He just figured out that he used some pimp tactics to run a legal business. You can get cam girls to be more committed to doing it if they think you love them. That's what he did. That makes him a manipulative jerk, but it's not a law being broken right there. It's not a law being broken. Steven Crowder was offered $50 from the Daily Wire. Wait, no, he worked for the Daily Wire. Wait, hold on. I get confused about who works for who. What do you mean? Explain what you mean. They offered him $50. $50. Is that a joke? Or you mean 50 million? But I thought that was the Daily Wire was who he was working for. Wasn't he? Yeah, he was working for the Daily Wire, and he quit. And he quit because he didn't want to sign a 360 deal or something like that, which I thought was a good deal. I thought it was a good deal. And even if it was a bad deal, then negotiate, but you ain't got to blast them. I thought that was kind of stupid. But yeah. Yeah, Hoop Jogging. Running game is not illegal. And that's been my whole point in this, and that's what they keep charging him up with. And that's the part that people really need to focus on and pay closer attention to, the mere fact that they're trying to charge him up with committing the crime of running game on women. Not necessary, not doing anything blatantly illegal. That's the part that men can't lose sight of. You have to pay close attention to that. You don't pay close attention to nothing else. Pay close attention to that. That they're in the business of essentially legislating women's feelings. That's essentially what they're in the business of. Legislating feelings. Don't ever lose sight of that. Don't ever lose sight of that. But all right. hold on real quick. I got background noise. Hold on. Can y'all hear that? Like a something in the background. Let me know in the chat room if y'all were able to hear that. Okay, I just got a no from the private chat from RM. Okay, good. All right. Shout out to all of the Patreons. Shout out to all the Patreons. Do appreciate each and every one of y'all. I do got to upload some Patreon content. Soon as I get off of here, I got a lot of stuff I'm behind on uploading, so that will be there. Some of it is already on members. Some of it won't be on members. Well, it might. In fact, it will. Yep. So it will be on members. It will be on the Patreon. I highly recommend you join the Patreon page. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we going to get the hell up out of here. And with that said, oh, and shout out to RM. Well, okay, RM, that's confusing because it says, please subscribe to my. Okay, everybody don't know that you're in the back pushing buttons and putting stuff up there. So it looks like I'm saying, please subscribe to my little channel that could, which is about 1950s femininity. Okay, now you got Tourette's in the background, just pushing buttons. You just banging buttons. All right, like I was saying, if you put that on the screen, you should type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. Hold on. There it is. Type that in the chat so they know it's you saying it. See, when you got it like that, it looks like I'm saying it. Like I'm telling people to subscribe to my little channel about 1950s housewifery and femininity. All right. You got to have your name by. See there. That's better. That's better. It was a little confusing. Okay. It was a little confusing. Everybody don't know that you back there pushing buttons. All right. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we about to get up out of here. I'd like to thank everybody for being in the building. We'll be back tomorrow morning. With Hood Conservative. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.